And we are live. The SMT Podcast. Huge news coming out today. Essentially, it was just breaking news a couple of hours ago. And we did a video to cover it, whatever information we did have at the time. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are unknown about the news, but we do have a new carrier, and this pretty much officially makes it a go. Project Genesis. This is going to be, it's going to be Dish's official postpaid wireless and 5G network. All right, so I was discussing this with Moose a little bit backstage. Obviously covered it in the video, and there's a lot of different things we could take from this. Some people are looking at it as if like, okay, well, it's about time we got something, or some people are saying, this doesn't mean anything. It hasn't really, hit the prime time or whatever the case may be. But I'm saying it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, a commercial network build is underway. If they open up signups requesting access for service. So Dish Wireless, what they're calling Project Genesis, I don't know if that's going to be the name permanently. I really don't. I wish I had more details for you guys. It leaves us to speculate. Is it only called Project Genesis while it's in beta? Are they going to be changing the name of the service? I'd like to think that they're probably going to stick with this, honestly. I don't think it would be wise to try to brand something and then rebrand it all within the same first phase of its life cycle. So it looks like they're going to leave the Boost mobile branding alone. They're going to leave that as the prepaid side of things. So Boost Mobile will stay prepaid and stay in the realm of competing with the Cricket, Visible, Metro, the MVNO space that are, I guess we'll just call them the redheaded stepchildren companies and prepaid of the MNOs. Brandon says hashtag Dish Wireless Beta. Sure does feel like that. Honestly, yeah, I mean, it's very possible, Bart. They drop the project when it goes mainstream and just be Genesis. Yeah, or Genesis 5 or something like that. I could definitely see that happening. Baby Yoda's in the house. Appreciate you. Moose hasn't joined us yet, but he will. Sebby chimes in and says, TBH, it's a beta of ORAN. And that's pretty much true. And to be honest with you, Sebby, I kind of look at the entire concept of ORAN. Obviously, every company is going to eventually go completely ORAN. But, because Verizon has spoken to it, AT&T has as well, and T-Mobile has. But it's just probably, further down the line as they develop the networking side. So, Brandon, honestly, I do not. I do not think they're going to keep the 35 gig cap. Maybe on Boost as they're roaming on the T-Mobile network. But if the network becomes their own, operation where they're providing their own native coverage, then they can do away with the 35 gig, threshold. So that's only temporary, I feel. As soon as they kind of get away and move away from, the Boost Mobile arrangements that are currently with T-Mobile, then that really opens up. They can develop different types of plans, different types of access, things like that. So we'll have to see how it plays out, obviously. I don't know. I don't know. I would like to read to you guys the release and the some of the things that we do know thus far. I mean, it's like I said, it's mostly it's mostly speculation at this point. They didn't give us a lot of details, but some of the things we do know, like we could do a spectrum analysis. We could do, some of the fact sheet, the FAQs, things that people are always asking about the network, and how it could be. So that's what I'm going to do for you guys today. And that's what we're going to do as myself and Moose, as he works his way back in here. Yeah. Feeling Dish will do something like Philo for Dish Wireless. That's very possible. They could do something like that. I think that's very, very possible. Although the one thing I would say that they might want to stay away from is whether or not they can, I don't know. Are you saying like do it as like a sling skinny bundle to go with the service, maybe? Is that what we're saying? I don't know, because let's see here. What's up, Michael West? My dude. Good to see you. Absolutely. Unless they want to lose more customers. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so what I want to do with you guys is I want to take a look at the spectrum position that they have, do a quick little analysis on that. Yes, no sports and news because pricing. Yeah, man, you ain't lying. All right, so let's take a look at this. Let's start first with the release information. Okay. Dish starts taking sign-up sports 5G network. All right, so
man,
Dish has
unbelievable.
Moose, you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to take a call. But anyways, go ahead.
All right, Moose, let me do the release, and then we'll take a look at the spectrum position and what we got. Okay?
Let's do it.
Okay. So they're taking signups. The website is up. We got Project Genesis. And although right now service is not officially available anywhere, it looks like they probably have X number of markets, 10, 12, 30 markets that they've already dubbed as their first initial markets. And people that are in those markets will probably be prioritized to be receiving, these updates and notifications as to what's going on. And at that time, you essentially become a beta tester. I don't know, Moose, if you remember when they first started doing Project Feye, when Google, which is currently Google Feye,
right?
But at the time it was Project Feye. So do you think it's going to be something like that?
It's going to be interesting because this is 100% beta test, right? You have, on the one hand, the backbone network is going to be T-Mobile. And then on the other hand, you have this greenfield 5G network that Dish is trying to put up, right?
Yep.
So it's very interesting times, in my opinion. I've never seen this type of situation done except in Japan, right? Where
talking about the ORAN situation?
Well, no. I'm talking about Ratican, right? They're the fourth competitor there. They just started 2 years ago, and they're doing something similar where they're doing not only tower site sharing, but they're also doing a type of connection where you can utilize the SIM from Ratican, but you're getting your actual service from another company. So it's like a hybrid MVNO plus primary carrier.
The thing about the and some of the questions are starting to come in. Where can we sign up? You just got to go to launch.5gmobilegenesis.com. Launch.5gmobilegenesis.com. And you just tap on request access and then you can sign up. They would like your name, your email, and your phone number. And they can even send you SMS. Some other questions coming in. Will that be 5G standalone? From what we know, the network from Dish that's going to be native is going to be all standalone 5G. That's what we know. according to the, all the guidelines, the 5G guidelines. But they are going to have LT and other forms of 5G because that's what T-Mobile is going to be operating. So, you're still going to have this LT fallback. You're still going to have 5G from another company, as you are probably not going to be on a lot of tower sites initially, from Dish proper, right? So you will have kind of like roaming access. Sebby was talking about the whole Rakuten thing with Japan. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not impressive, and actually, they haven't actually caught traction over there. They're the what do you want to just call it? Last place, fourth place in Japan.
Yeah, it hasn't caught traction. No, not at all.
They seem to be operating at half the speed of, I think it's Dokocom is the name of the number one company, which is kind of like the Verizon of Japan.
Yeah, NT, yeah. NTT.
Or
yeah.
Docomo, that's what it's called.
Docomo, yeah. They're really big, man. They're everywhere. They're huge.
Yeah, man. So, obviously this is kind of making its way through the media. They must be trying to get, some traction now. They want to get some mind share. I don't think they want to go unnoticed, especially early on. So develop a little buzz now. As soon as they get closer to launch dates, you'll probably start to see, the website opening up more. I mean, it's literally a single page, Moose. There's like nowhere to go.
Sneed, we were talking before the call here, and I'm honestly disappointed. I mean, Jesus, they've had more than 15 months since the close. Since the close of the deal, and that effectively created this fourth carrier. Since then, I mean, I could have made a website day one too. I mean, come on, man.
Can we talk about what Dish and Project Genesis is going to be up against?
Yeah, let's put it up into perspective from both a pricing standpoint, spectrum standpoint.
Well, why don't we do that, since it's really a networking podcast? Why don't we talk about the spectrum position?
Okay, so
let's start with low band.
Right.
How does Dish Project Genesis stack up with its competitors? Okay, so AT&T officially has 76 megahertz of low band national. Right now, what we're talking about is band 14, band 12. I don't know. It depends on the market, obviously, but uplink, downlink, AT&T is in a good place with low band spectrum. They really, I would say, probably have the most, and it's not even close. Maybe you could make the argument that the new T-Mobile is pretty close. They might be around the 50 or 60 megahertz of low band, but to me, honestly, I just feel like that's one of the reasons, that's one of the strengths that AT&T has. So AT&T is really up there in the low band. Verizon has a lot of low band too. They've got band 5, which is 850 megahertz. They have band 13, which is 700 megahertz. I mean, these are companies with well-established tower grids. These are companies with a lot of low band. Dish's situation is obviously a little bit different. They're going to rely heavily upon low band to really carry the coverage load for them, because they're not going to have the tower density for a while. But I think that's where the spectrum agreements come into place, and they could potentially roam. They have the agreement with T-Mobile. So it's not really a concern, but as a standalone company, we have to call a spade a spade. They don't have as much low band as their competitors. They have like less than half of what AT&T has. They've got about, I don't know, 40% less than Verizon, and they've got about half of what the new T-Mobile has in low band.
Mm-hmm.
Mid band.
Now hold up. Let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
Unlike T-Mobile, pre-merger T-Mobile had a significant amount of band 4, band 66, band 2 for mid-band, correct?
Yeah, if you wanted to move on to the mid-band, we could do that next.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is that unlike pre-T-Mobile, right, Dish, their only way that they're going to make this happen, like you said earlier, is their low band carrying the load, because they have band 71, which is a good frequency band unless you're next to a hospital. But but maybe they're going to be strategic. Maybe they're not going to put their spectrum near a hotel, or sorry, not a hotel, a hospital.
Well, they do have some options there, Moose, because they also own 700.
That's right. That's where I was getting to. Is like they're probably going to be modifying their sites to not all be cookie cutter like T-Mobile's, right?
Right.
We've seen just a 2-panel, two parallel panels together set up in some pictures. In other pictures, we've seen, in the Ericsson, headquarters over here, we've seen even, a band 77 panel, a C-band panel as well, or right. Even a 3.4 gigahertz, the same thing, C-band as well. But anyways, go ahead with the mid-band. Basically,
what I want to do is I want to just kind of dissect and break down the low band a little bit. So what they have in low band very specifically, it breaks down as follows. The 600 megahertz that they have, we're talking about dish here, is paired spectrum, right? So it's valuable in the sense that they have it on both uplink and downlink. And I would say in probably 85% of the country's geographical space, they have at least 10% of it, or excuse me, 10 megahertz. And then I would say about 15% of the country, they have 20 megahertz of it. There's a small percentage, I believe it's Central California and Southern Florida, where they have 30 megahertz of it. And then really in the New York market, so we're talking about Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, Southern New York, so New York City, Boston, they have 40 megahertz of it. So what that tells me is there will be situations where 600 megahertz, which is going to be N71 for dish, is going to provide a sizable capacity layer, even though it's low band. They are going to have a ton of spectrum in some locations. So 20 megahertz, 30 megahertz, and 40 megahertz is going to be possible in certain places. And then on top of that, they're also going to have 700 megahertz for downlink. So they can allocate that specifically for that purpose. Now it's only 6 megahertz, but that will be probably enough for calling, texting, and keeping a connection where the 600 megahertz might become compromised. Like we talked about the hospital situation with T-Mobile and the interference, right, Moose?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting how they're going to do it. I mean, they have the assets to build out a really solid network. But again, I keep remembering what you said earlier in other videos. They're only going to spend $10 billion in 10 years or something like that. It's really low amounts of money, right?
Well, yeah. They're going to need an investor if they're really going to compete. The last thing I'll do with the low band here is they have the residual of the T-Mobile and Sprint merger, which is the 800 megahertz, the paired spectrum from Sprint. So that's band 26, so that'll be N26. And it's 14 megahertz national. And being that it's paired, I'm assuming they're going to do a 5x5 channel, 4 megahertz or guard band. Right? That's essentially what Sprint had to do in most cases. So, but it's completely national. Okay, so again, they've got flexibility in their low band. 600 megahertz will be a big part of what they do. 700 megahertz will be kind of sort of situational. And then nationally, the 800 megahertz will probably carry the mail as the main connection, through and through. I'm assuming that it will probably be what's going to be boosting the mid-band downlink, right? They've always had like anchor bands and stuff like that. So I think that's where band 26 comes into play.
Right.
So that's all the low band. So you see they've got 3 low band connections of at least 5 megahertz or more. Okay, so the low band is a strength of what they're going to be doing. So Moose, we were talking about the build, we were talking about the network potential. They're not going to have a lot of customers. They do have a lot of flexibility with low band.
Right. Like if we rewind the clock, right, to 2012 days, right? This is like when T-Mobile had very few customers, right? A couple of tens of millions, but they didn't have low band. This is the complete opposite, right? Dish has the low band, they have the mid band. So now the only issue is the money. Do they have enough money to deploy the equipment?
All right, well, let's look at the mid-band holdings now that we've covered the low band. To get things started, Dish has AWS 2.1 gigahertz, 2100 megahertz. They have AWS 3, it's paired spectrum, and they do not have this spectrum national. They have it in segments of most states. I believe the only states that don't have this AWS 3 is Maine, and I think it's Montana, Wyoming, and North Dakota. Like they are completely absent of AWS 3 in the paired spectrum. So in these like metro county regional areas, like say for example, Ohio, Southwest Ohio has 20 megahertz, Northwest Ohio has 20 megahertz, Northeast Ohio has mostly 10 megahertz. So they've got segments of states. Florida's, I don't know, it looks like maybe 2/3 of the state has 10 megahertz. Texas has a couple of metro markets. It looks like Houston and Dallas have 10 megahertz. So AWS 3 paired spectrum is not going to be, really much of a big deal national, but they do have metro areas where they have 30 megahertz. I see Minneapolis in there. I see parts of Wisconsin with 20 megahertz, parts of Pennsylvania. There's parts of Nevada with 10. It's not going to be a game changer for them. That'll be providing some sort of a bit of an anchor of sorts. It looks like it's going to be either a 5x5 or a 10x10 in most cases. There are a few markets where it'll be 15x15. Now they have a specific, and this is where things get crazy, Moose. They've got a specific dedicated AWS 3 uplink.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting.
So they've got a paired spectrum, which isn't very deep in most cases, and then they've got an uplink one. Now here's the way this works. In about, I don't know, I'd say probably 3/4 of the country, they've got 15 megahertz dedicated to uplink. In some places it's 5, in some places it's 10. But that means that they've got a lot of potential to have a pretty high capacity uplink experience. So like video calling, video meetings and stuff like that. It looks like they're going to have a lot of that running through the AWS 3. So that's pretty cool. Now, the AWS 4, this I think is what they were actually giving to AT&T. Do you remember this, Moose, last year?
Yep. This was amazing. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is huge because this is specifically downlink AWS 4. Okay, this is 40 megahertz national.
Right.
They spent, I believe, $10 billion on the spectrum.
Right.
Back in, I think, 2015. Somebody may be able to correct me if I'm wrong. But, I mean, when I mean national, I'm talking national. Alaska, all, Hawaii, as well as Puerto Rico. Okay, so they are completely 40 megahertz to downlink AWS 4. So if you think about it, Moose, all the AWS included, that's 40 on the down, plus an additional, potentially, 5 to 20 on the down. So you might be getting somewhere in the neighborhood of a dedicated 70 megahertz of bandwidth, sub 6 gigahertz.
Easily
on downlink. Yeah.
Easily you'll be able to get 400 plus Mbps easily.
And that's not including the 10 to 20 megahertz that they got national and CBRS.
Right. And that's why I'm saying easily 400, because it really depends on the backhaul, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to go with the 5 gig backhaul to start. Maybe in certain areas that are more populated with their subscribers, they might go 10 gigahertz backhaul. But sorry, 10 gig backhaul. I apologize. But again, it's amazing, right? They're in a position where they have the low band, they have the mid band, but where's the money going to come from, Sneedman? Where's the money?
All right. We ain't gotten there yet, Moose. Let's get on to this next piece of the spectrum. They have 28 gigahertz spectrum. They have over 1100 megahertz of it, but it's really situational, Moose. It's in like 2 or 3 counties in Wyoming. It's in about a half dozen counties in Arizona. I think it's one county just south of LA. That might be San Diego. Missouri, St. Louis. I think part of Nebraska. It's really situational. It's random. I would guess, Moose, that's going to be home internet or enterprise. I just don't understand why those regions.
Well, San Diego market is a pretty big market.
Okay, I get San Diego, but like St. Louis, I mean, I guess, but like that bottom, southeast corner of Wyoming, the 7 or 8 counties in Arizona. I don't know. Very random.
Well, here's what I would do, because you mentioned Arizona, you mentioned San Diego. I mean, San Diego is the pipeline to Los Angeles, right? Like if you're a migrant, right? Sure. So if you do really well in San Diego, the idea is you'll continue doing well in Los Angeles, right? So Metro PCS, Metro PCS as an example, they put their stores directly adjacent to the bus terminals that are coming from Mexico. As soon as you step off the bus, boom, you get signed up with Metro PCS. That's the thought. And it's the truth, because that's what I've seen firsthand. Huntington Park, California, there's 5 T-Mobile stores, 2 Metro PCS stores just in the same street. And all of them are where the buses drop off the migrants. So that's just one thing. But then Phoenix, right? Like Arizona areas, Tucson, dude, that's also another booming area of population. I think they're going to do well there as well. Dish.
Yeah. Now, there is a 12 gigahertz downlink spectrum.
Right.
So that
Very
would
controversial.
mean, okay, now this is the MVDDS. It's specifically for downlink. We're talking about 500 megahertz, Moose. So to me, I mean, that's a ton, an absolute ton of capacity, potential. Nevada is 100% covered. Arizona is about 90% covered. California is about 80% covered. Colorado is about 95% covered. Wyoming's about 90% covered. Washington's 80% covered. Ohio's about 90% covered or more. There are massive amounts of certain states with this spectrum. Again, home internet seems like a viable option, monetizing a lot of that extra capacity. I'm starting to think that in about half of the country, you may see Dish Wireless going into the fixed wireless access in about 3 to 5 years.
It's interesting because it's very controversial spectrum, the 12 gigahertz. And the reason why it's extremely controversial was because, once again, we see the highway antics, the gambling from Charlie. The 12 gigahertz spectrum, if I'm not mistaken, was originally intended to be satellite spectrum, correct?
It is, but they could always, what if they were to split it and then auction half of it, they were to gain some of those proceeds and still retain a couple hundred of those megahertz?
Well, here's the thing, right? If that was the mentality, AT&T could have kept DirecTV, completely changed the way that they were going to do this, right? So in the metro areas, they would shut down the satellite and kept all
that could still happen,
right? No. It's completely gone now. It's its own company. So what I'm saying,
but it had to be. That was going to be a conflict of interest, those.
Right. But what I'm saying is this, right? Is that Dish? You just answered my question. It is a conflict of interest because now people that would want to buy that spectrum won't be able to buy that spectrum because originally you signed a deal, Dish signed a deal. They were going to use that for satellite transmission. Now it's no longer going to be used for satellite transmission. It needs to go to auction. That's what people are arguing, right? The companies are arguing. Now it's controversial on another point because 12 gigahertz is the lowest millimeter wave potential, right?
Exactly.
Right. It's the low band of high band, right? It's the, it's like they call it beachfront. Yeah,
that's where millimeter wave kind of starts.
Right. It's extremely sexy spectrum. I'm going to call it sexy instead of beachfront. Why? Because it will definitely travel further, Sneed, man.
I mean, it's half. I mean, if you look at the frequency, we're talking about 12 gigahertz. I mean, most of what Verizon and AT&T are deploying is 39 gigahertz, right? So 3 times, the frequency,
right?
Just the propagation characteristics are going to be so different.
Absolutely. And I think that one of the things that we should mention, right, is that if hypothetically that 12 gigahertz does come to pass, 500 megahertz of that, it will be just slightly better than, actually, not just slightly. It would be similar to 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. That's how I'm describing 12 gigahertz. Because if you think about 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, right, it covers your home, if you have a good enough antenna and a good enough power. If you amplify it, how Dish is probably going to do it, this thing could probably go several blocks down the street, Sneed, man.
Sure. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's true. Yeah.
But anyways, I'm very excited about that if it comes to pass, because remember, the FCC is still investigating. The new FCC chair, she's great, definitely good, but she has her questions on it as well. Obviously, if she didn't have any questions of it, it would already been happening by now.
Well, I think she knows that she has to be responsible in how this plays out. It's going to have far-reaching effects for a long time. Right. Come on, Moose, think about it. Like, that could make or break a company for decades. It could be a game changer for some,
right.
Good or bad. I mean, however they look at it. I would like to see. I would like to see Dish monetize from it. I would like to see other companies capitalize on it as well as an asset. I would like to see more than one company win from it. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, this is how I see it, Steenman. If Dish sells all 500 megahertz of it, they could easily be making enough money to build out their network.
Yeah, but do you want to see them sell all of it? I want to see it be a split. I want to see part of it be retained and part of it be public auction.
Think about it like this, Neiman. If I was Charlie and I had spectrum assets that I could sell, and let's say hypothetically that 500 megahertz goes for, let's say, 5 billion total, right? So $1 billion each on the low end. That $5 billion, I can build out my network double in some areas, maybe even triple in some areas. And I'd be able to recuperate $5 billion in less time than if I was to just held on to half of it. Because I'm not going to be able to deploy that millimeter wave spectrum for multiple years later. So in my opinion, I would sell to gain more in the long term.
So you think that's the best way for them to go, is to sell as much as possible?
I mean, honestly, Steve, man, I'll tell you this right now.
So that way they could build out their network in the form of coverage.
I would sell my AWS-3 spectrum. I'm this bold, okay? I would sell my 12 gigahertz spectrum. I would sell my AWS-3 that's not everywhere, right? It's not every state has it in big enough quantities. Like you mentioned, right? There's 5 megahertz of it here, 10 megahertz there, maybe in some place 15, right? I would sell that and keep my prime spectrum AWS-4, which is a solid 40 megahertz, right? I would rather sell my AWS-3 than to keep the AWS-3, because I know that I'll be able to make massive returns on investment from there. And I'd be able to make more money from my network and buy potentially C-band, and that'll be contiguous.
Well, I mean that's important. That definitely matters.
I'm telling you, man. I think about it in a different way, only because I know that the assets are super valuable right now. Think about it like this, right? Those frequencies are adjacent to Verizon and AT&T, possibly even T-Mobile. If Verizon and AT&T buy them from me, Dish, right? I can be easily making several billions of dollars because we know that Verizon is hurting.
Mm-hmm.
They would love to instantly do a frequency change on their radios to boost their existing capacity that they have instead of waiting a couple months, maybe even a year or two to get a crew to put in the C-band equipment. This is an instant change, night and day instant change. Remember in the pandemic, we were talking about it earlier, when AWS-4 and AWS-3 was loaned out for 3 months to AT&T and Verizon, and even T-Mobile got band 71, the speeds on average climbed 25 Mbps. And imagine if every single cell site had a dual band AWS radio where you
for
could
the sake of broadcasting for multi-carrier.
Right. So you can be broadcasting AWS-3 and AWS-4 at the same time. It could even boost even higher than 25 Mbps. But 25 Mbps is the minimum that it boosted. There were
that was
that
was the 600 megahertz.
Well, no.
Yeah.
So like back in
well, I'm talking about like what we saw last year with T-Mobile when they got the additional spectrum for band 71.
Right.
I mean, speeds in those markets. I mean, people were telling me that they went from useless to very good.
Right.
Because they were literally getting an additional 20 megahertz.
Same thing happened in New Jersey. I was talking to a friend of mine. There were some cell sites that had the dual band AWS-3 and 4. It boosted your capacity, so you could get easily over 400 Mbps on a cell site easily. So I was like, this is a no-brainer. There was so many options on the table for Dish since day one. I don't know why they didn't try to get into an agreement with Verizon, with AT&T, to lease that spectrum, so then I can make a little bit of money, right, until I was ready to build out my own network.
Okay. Well, I mean, the build out is expensive. The build out is time consuming. They could essentially leverage that spectrum. But I mean, again, Moose, they're still operating their satellite through that spectrum.
Right.
So how much of that can you properly sell? And I mean, I know that their spectrum has become minimized because it just simply isn't being used. You know, like the amount that they have. They're not actively using 500 megahertz for what they're doing. There's just no way. They don't have the customer and market share anymore. The satellite business has taken a huge hit. You know, I mean, the same could be said about DirecTV, Moose.
Oh, of course. I would recommend this to both Dish and DirecTV.
By the way, he's still trying to merge, bro. Like, this is crazy.
It's ridiculous at this point. I mean, Jesus. So this is what I would suggest, right? So you have products, Sling TV, right? AT&T TV, which will probably be rebranded eventually, right? Back to DirecTV somehow. Figure out a way to put a SIM card on that box, and you can easily, for the majority of your customer base, you can switch them off of the satellite. Now, the problem is going to be the rural, right? The rural people. But even in rural America, there's places where you get enough of a coverage to stream, a TV show. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, we have Starlink coming up very quick and fast, man. So
yeah. Will they ever be a mobile operator?
I think that when you say mobile, are we talking cell phone or are we talking RV?
All right, because cellular, I don't feel good about. Like,
I don't think that.
Like RV, I could see trains, buses.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, right? Because mobile encompasses just anything that's not connected to a wire, right?
Yeah,
Like
traditional cellular mobility, I just don't think that's what they want to do.
right. But in
And
terms of
honestly,
like the
they'd have to get a
hotspot,
lot more spectrum and stuff like that
maybe
to
a
serve
hotspot
everybody.
Sneed. Maybe they'll do a hotspot.
Maybe.
But it's going to be a huge box. I'll tell you that right now, because that thing needs to have an antenna, you know, that's big enough to receive that signal.
Moose, I think it's fair that we actually look at the specific build that Dish has to follow through on from the FCC. Are you ready for these details?
Okay, let's hear it out. Let's hear it out.
By mid 2023, I think it's June, they will have to deploy AWS, all their AWS holdings, and the 700 megahertz. They have to build that out in 70% of the country's population. All right, so that's requirement number one. The second part of that is it must all be 5G NR, and it must be commercial mobile network operations, not IoT and not non-5G. So basically what they're requiring is that it must be the fourth cellular carrier, and they must be giving service in those two specific elements. So that's 700 megahertz and the AWS that must be transmitting, broadcasting in 70% of the US population.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because remember how, you know, we were talking the other day, 70% of the US population is just urban areas, right?
Yeah, that's going to be in probably, I don't know, what do you think, the top 80 markets?
Right. So, you know, you just have to follow the game plan, right? Just follow the game plan, put a couple of cell sites, right? Honestly, this is what I would do if I were really wanted to like cheese the system. I just put a couple dozen cell sites per market, and boom, I have effectively covered 70% of the US population. Because if we're going to use the rules that T-Mobile is using, I put a fucking band 41 cell sites need in the Ohio city that you told me about. One band 41, and boom, it's now a band 41 market.
They just call it one of the points of presence or whatever,
exactly.
How many people are there.
There you go. So if we're going to use that logic, then they don't have to do much. And that's why I'm keeping my expectations extremely low. Especially because remember, you told me that there's a 7-year plus roaming agreement with T-Mobile, right?
7-year roaming, right?
So they don't really have to do much. They just have to comply.
But Moose, they will have to be weaned off of that, because I think it's the first 4 years they have full access, full throttle on the T-Mobile network. After the 4th year, it decreases by 10% each year. So basically, the capacity starts to decrease with time.
It's interesting you say that, right?
Yeah,
because
that means they're basically saying, hey, it's time for your network to do the heavy lifting.
It's interesting you say that, because I don't know if T-Mobile by the 4th year will have enough experience with QCIs to do that.
Well, they're gonna have to be on a full standalone core, and they're gonna have to be able to develop a network slice for this purpose.
That's interesting, right, Sneed? Is that means that by 2024, in the language of the contract, T-Mobile will have multiple network slicings for their prepaid, for their dish situation, for their free lines. That's all going to be bucketed into the lowest QCI, because you're not paying. So
here's the way this is structured. Like, so they mentioned the AWS and they mentioned the 700 megahertz, but they didn't mention the 600 megahertz. So the way that this is structured looks like their AWS 4, the lower 700 megahertz, and then the AWS H block, which is the 1.9 gigahertz. Dish has to have, if you're talking about 70% of the population, 75% of the population, well then where does that put the 600 megahertz? Because the 600 megahertz is a pretty big time piece of the requirement. It looks here like it says June 2025, that's got to be in 75% of the population too. And it's got to be all 5G.
You're absolutely right.
So they've got some pretty tangible requirements that they have to meet. See, to me, it's not convoluted, Moose. It's pretty straightforward. By 2023, they've got to get, I don't know, 90% of their spectrum live. They've got to deploy probably, in order to do that, Moose, they probably need at least, I'd say 30,000 sites to do that.
Wow.
To get 70% of the country covered.
30,000.
At least 30,000.
Okay, so let's do the numbers. 30,000 multiply. How much does a typical cell site cost, Need? 150,000?
They're right, but most of these sites are already built, so they're just ready to lease.
Okay. So, but the equipment, right, is still expensive.
Yeah.
So let's say how much, Need? 80?
I don't know, man. At least.
Okay, multiply that by 80,000 minimum.
And then you've got your back haul and your front haul.
And that's very expensive. Now we're talking about $2.4 billion minimum that they need to spend. Now, I know Sebby asked.
That's by 2023, Moose.
Right, exactly. That's a lot of money.
So I mean, I don't know, man. You think they could really get to that mark? They want to spend $10 billion in 7 years? Sheesh.
Sebby asked a question. Free line network slicing, how if it's on the same plan? Well, as you know, Sneedman, the free lines have a code, right, that you have to manually input per the plan, that it recognizes that phone line is free.
It's not paid.
Right, it's free, right? It's not going to be charged. That code directly correlates with many different things in the future. The way that I anticipate, after talking with some of my buddies that work at T-Mobile, is that they are factoring that in, that anybody that has that free line code on their plan will automatically be dropped to the lowest QCI permanently, because you're not paying. You're not going to be getting the same network access if somebody else is paying versus you're not. So we already got verification from my people that it's going to happen. It's in the language of how they're forced to do this network slicing thing. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're going to have a QCI 9 similar to AT&T, but their QCI 9 is going to be significantly worse than even Cricket, where it was limited to 5 Mbps, because that's going to encompass, Dish. It's going to encompass the free line. So it's going to be very interesting how it's going to be playing out.
And they've got the priority access licenses for CBRS, the 3.5 gigahertz. They spent less than $1 billion on that for 5,500 licenses in 3,000 counties. Mm-hmm. So CBRS will be a piece of what they do for capacity in those specific places. Again, it's going to be small cell situational unless it goes high power. If it goes high power, it's going to go on macros. That's probably going to be the last thing that they do closer to 2024. For those of you out there thinking that, Dish is going to have gigabit speed network like Verizon or AT&T, with C-band in 2023, that's just simply not going to happen. They're going to be a little bit slower, but they're not going to be slow. Clearly they are going to be a fast network, but you just won't see the peak speeds because they really have no need to do it. They're not going to be serving 100+ million customers. They're going to be serving 5-10 million, to get things started with Boost. I mean, Moose, do you think by 2025 they add an additional organic 10 million customers?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be very interesting.
So you have your doubts that they can even have 30 million customers by 2025?
It all comes down to the price points, Nate, man. And it's going to be a lot of promotion. You're going to have to compete against the marketing machine that is T-Mobile. You're going to have to compete against the marketing machines of AT&T and Verizon, right? Combined, everybody's spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars per month on advertisements, right? All those three. What are you going to do? How are you going to compete against them? Are you going to focus on the Hispanic population? Because clearly that's going to have to be a focal point for them, right? Dish / Boost. Secondly, are you going to target the socioeconomic realms the same way that T-Mobile is doing? Are you going to do the T-Mobile strategy, or are you going to do a more of like a value play strategy, right? Where it's like, hey, anybody that has Sling or Dish, instantly you're going to target them. I think that's like the first step, like 0.5 step, right? Is anybody that already has our services, we're going to instantly target. Same way with Spectrum and Xfinity, right? They immediately attacked their own customer base, right?
Yeah.
Two, I'm going to start trying to poach off these Sprint customers. I'll be honest with you. I feel like that's the second thing that they should do.
100%.
And then three, they need to go after Verizon. 100%. Because even to this day, Verizon has this stigma of we're the most expensive, but it's because we're the best for your needs, right? If that's what you want. Dish is going to tell you, we have a brand new open. I feel like these are the type of commercials that I would do if I was Dish. Drive down the 405 freeway. Drive down the busiest freeways in the United States in the commercials and say, welcome to Dish. We have an open lane. We have a completely open lane. We have
Basically,
no
right?
issues. We have no congestion. We have nobody on our network. Come try us out. That's what I would do. They have the advantage in terms of the advertising. T-Mobile can't say that they have an open lane because we already see that in Nevada and in parts of Los Angeles, N41 is already congested, massively congested. So that's what I would do, Sneed Man.
I mean, you got to get out somewhere, and you should probably target consumer segments that are volatile, those that are liable to churn, those that could be easily ported. So a disgruntled former Sprint, current mobile customer, a person on a very expensive premium plan with Verizon or AT&T possibly. Maybe you want to try to convert some of those longtime Boost customers with incentives and a device upgrade. Maybe it's customers that currently have the Dish TV service, Moose. What do you think about that potential?
I think that the Dish subscriber portion, I think that's going to be like almost an instant route. I mean, what do they have? Say like less than 10 million customers now?
They estimate 8.5 to 9 million. I'm not sure why. We can't get a solid answer. I don't know why.
Jesus. So let's say hypothetically 20% of that 8.5 million transfers over in the first year. So we're at 1.7 million brand new fresh customers. Okay. That's already good because they have 8.9 million wireless, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let me add the numbers. Now we're at 10.6 within the first year. So I don't know, Sneed Man. I mean, I personally think that they have all the upside here, but it all comes down to how much they're going to price it.
Who do they have to price with is what I want to look at, because I'm not going to sit there and, try to say, hey, if you're I mean, first of all, we have to understand how the network's going to operate. So it's essentially a T-Mobile fallback with a build as you go native 5G network from Dish, right? So it's some sort of a hybrid for a while. Is that going to mean that this is going to be a service that directly competes with T-Mobile because of its service and pricing? I think that's the consumer segment. They can't price with AT&T and Verizon. And the reason I say that is AT&T and Verizon have a pedigree. They have a track record of success, network excellence, and both of them, clearly are at the pinnacle of the current top experiences in cellular. If somebody says, I don't care about how much money I spend, which network should I have? 9 times out of 10, they're picking with Verizon or AT&T.
Right.
I mean, that's just, most recommendations are going to go in that direction. Whether or not T-Mobile has developed parity in some of these markets, it's just network perception and then actual network experience. I mean, both are part of the deal. So to me, honestly, Moose, I'm looking at this is, I think Dish would be wise to price like the Sprint T-Mobile pricing as the best value in the game in order to get some kind of an entry into the game. You know what I mean? You can't go in there pricing like AT&T and Verizon and be an unproven commodity.
See, the problem is though, right, is that look at their recent history within this last year and a half. They changed the Boost Mobile plans dramatically so that they did not offer unlimited connections.
But that's as an MVNO, not operating their own mobile network.
Correct. But you said that the fallback is going to be T-Mobile, correct?
Well, I mean, for postpaid, it's a different story. The profit margins are higher. So more of the networking can be over T-Mobile, and they could still remain profitable. You got to keep in mind, Moose, like being an MVNO on the prepaid side, you've got to find ways to be profitable. The margins are skinny.
Yeah, that FanDuel, that's one of the ways that they become profitable, right? That partnership.
I don't even know what to say, Moose. I get it. I mean, at what point does that become the leveraging chip that gets you to close out that customer deal?
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Like we got DraftKings, you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
See, this is what most people are going to do, though, right? They're going to look at that commercial. We have an open runway, but if you're not going to give me a free phone, I'm not even interested. Because T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon are all giving me massively discounted or free phones. So they're going to have to invest money, big money, Sneedman, on just that. The customer acquisition cost for a Dish customer is going to be significantly higher than T-Mobile or even Verizon's, for that matter, simply because they have no idea who the heck this company is. Most people don't even know that Dish is doing wireless right now.
No, they don't.
That's the biggest thing against them right now. They have absolutely zero brand perception, zero brand awareness. They didn't do the right branding campaigns like Snapchat. Remember like Snapchat? I don't know if you remember this. Back in the day, they like rented out spaces in like New York City, San Francisco, and they had like experience stores where you could have like these AR glasses, right? That was a complete...
I vaguely remember those. I remember hearing about those.
It was a huge flop because regardless, no one cares, right? But this one is going to be more unique because people are already entrenched, right? They were fine with Sprint. They're fine with T-Mobile. They merged. Now we have just 3 household names. Everybody knows these names, by the way. This is something that a lot of people forget. When people think about wireless, they only think about these 3 companies because they're constantly in the media, whether it's social.
Well, AT&T goes back 100 years.
Right.
They've always been the phone company.
Right. Verizon, also big, right? T-Mobile, because of how much money they spent.
On marketing, big.
Right. So Dish is going to be climbing Mount Everest, possibly even bigger. They're climbing, go ahead.
But if they make themselves competitive and unique, it gives them a chance.
Right.
And like for a small company, Moose, you're really, like what I would focus on if I was them is unique customer experience, customer care, very dynamic and fluid and responsive. I would essentially do what John Legere did. Honestly, I would replicate the Uncarrier. I would make it unique and utilize and leverage the technology as a selling point. You know, sell the service in a dynamic way that makes it a little bit different than Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile, so that we could say, hey, well, here's what we can do for you that the others can't. We're more nimble. We're more adjustable. You know, here's what we could do on these types of lines. Here's what we could do with enterprise lines. Here's what we could do with kids lines. Here's what we could do with tablets and hotspots. You know, like something unique and different. And I think like, you know, when we look at Peter Adderton and Mobile X, that's essentially what he's trying to do. But he's not going to be owning and operating his own network. So again, owner's economics, that's where Dish can have the advantage. Not only do they have owner's economics in that they're going to have their own network, but they have the T-Mobile network in their back pocket, full access for several years.
You know what I was thinking, Sneed, when you were saying what's going to be unique about Dish? Or maybe potentially unique about Dish? Can you imagine if the first way that you can sign up with Dish would be an eSIM app? That'd be great. I don't have to go to a store.
So that people can easily just become transient and move?
Right, exactly.
That'll be interesting. But again, you're still going to need phone deals. You're still going to need BOGOs. You know, people still do that in stores. You're going to need a retail presence. They got a lot to overcome, man. Like, they couldn't do it digital. You'd be pricing yourself out of the market with so many different customers. How many people would be completely comfortable switching a carrier digitally through an app?
Well, let's look at the folks that are on Visible, right? If they're getting Dish for $45 a month, okay, and they incorporate a party play, and they're mostly in urban areas, they're gonna switch to Dish, guaranteed, because that network is gonna be like a free flowing freeway with nobody on it, you know, versus Verizon. Unless you're in an ultra wideband area, more than likely with the heavy network congestion that they have until C-band comes, of course, you might have issues.
It's interesting. I don't know how it's going to play out, Moose, but they got people signing up for pre-orders or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. Where do you think the plan prices upon entry? If you had to guess, Moose.
If I'm thinking they might price it exactly like AT&T. I'm thinking.
All right, let's take a look at the AT&T pricing and kind of like the feature set. We'll look at their mobility offerings. I'm going to just go to the website and see how they structure it in terms of the plans. I know that they're putting the iPhone front and center, Moose. $700 off a max and all that.
That's right.
So unlimited your way essentially allows each line on the account to have a different plan, right? Different feature set.
Right.
So if you're going in at the entry point, $35 a month at 4 lines or more, right? Okay. Now, they have other plans too. So the entry point's at $35 a line for a family line. They do have the next step up, which is a little bit more of a premium experience. So the AT&T Unlimited Starter, $35 a month for each line on 4 lines or more. Goes up to $40 to get you into the Unlimited Extra. To me, I think the unlimited extra is probably the way to go if you're going with AT&T postpaid.
Right.
At least that. Getting
Well,
unlimited starter at $35 a month, you might as well just go prepaid, honestly, with the best prepaid. But anyways, it's besides the point.
you know what I would
The
suggest though, Sneed?
what?
If like let's say a family of 4, right? I would have one person who's like the power user on the elite plan, simply for the HBO Max and all the features, and then everybody else on the starter plan. Everybody else.
I mean, if so, basically, hypothetical. Sneed's wife, Sneed's brother, Sneed's mom and dad, right? Let's say it's a 5 lines. Sneed gets the premium elite, and then they all go on to, starter or whatever because they don't care. Okay. So we get all the perks, we get all that great stuff. Okay. 5G access included in all plans, roaming access in Canada and Mexico, high definition streaming, all that great stuff. The Stadia Pro is now included in there, right, Moose?
Mm-hmm.
We got
That's
hotspot
a
and
big one.
tethering
That's a
data.
big
Yeah,
one.
we got all types of goodies in there.
Right.
The way that's going to price, my bill is going to be somewhere around $300.
For 4 lines?
Well, if it's going to be 4 lines, then we're probably talking somewhere more like 200.
No, actually, Sneed. This is the best part about AT&T. We have to
Well,
also
Moose, 3 lines at 35.
correct,
Right?
but
You're talking about
remember
105 plus the 50,
we have
155 plus taxes. Does that put us at 175?
we haven't spoken about the discounts that can be applied to these plans.
Well, let's
Which
just stick to what's advertised.
right. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because there's multiple ways that you can massage this deal. If you're in a fiber market, they give you 25% off. If you're a
Yeah,
teacher,
but Moose, I have to go with what's advertised because we got to compare it to what we think is going to happen with Dish.
right? But that's what I'm saying is that I think Dish is going to have discounts. If
Really?
you have, if you have Dish, satellite, or Sling TV, depending on the plan, they're going to probably do a bundling type thing. I'm almost guaranteeing this.
Yeah, that's possible.
I'm almost putting my I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. If they don't, it's going to be suicide because they're going to immediately try to cannibalize their existing base of TV subscribers with Dish wireless. They're going to have to say, hey, if you come to Dish Wireless from whatever, not only will we give you a free phone, but your monthly service is going to be X amount cheaper. Let's say 25% off cheaper. But anyways, go ahead, Sneed.
So we're essentially at 35 for the entry, 40 for the middle, and then 50 for the premium. Now Verizon is more or less they're $5 more per line, with the exception of the starter unlimited, which is priced the same. So really, the only thing guaranteed is going to be that AT&T's premium plan is a little bit less expensive than Verizon's, $5 per line. The access on the AT&T plan is going to be better, higher resolution video, better perks, I think, with 100 gigs of deep prio data instead of 50.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting 30 gigs of hotspot and tethering data. I think with AT&T, what are you getting, 50?
50 before deep prio, yeah.
So I think the access experience is a little bit better, and it's also $5 cheaper. So again, I think AT&T priced a little better. You're getting a little bit more in terms of a feature set that is rich. Where the Verizon stuff gets really good, obviously you can get the HBO Max with the premium plan with AT&T, but with Verizon, you're getting the Disney bundle, you're getting Apple Music. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. So really it becomes a value play in which direction you want to go there. The Verizon can be very valuable to someone who doesn't want to pay for Disney Plus, ESPN Plus with La Liga Soccer,
Mm-hmm.
and also the Hulu access. In and of itself, it's a huge value proposition, which when you pay for those things individually, it really makes the Verizon plan pretty attractive. So they have the element there. So basically what I'm saying is Dish has to come in and offer something that these guys are doing. Whether it's the HBO Max in the case of AT&T, or it's the Disney bundle in the case of Verizon, here comes Dish. I think they're going to have to offer something too, because T-Mobile's still doing Netflix on us.
Right.
And YouTube TV at a discount. So this is where I think Sling comes into play, as you can pick either maybe like the orange or the blue, bundle or something like that. What do you think, Liz?
I'm looking up Sling TV. I've never actually looked at
Charlie Ergen has joined the live stream.
How's it going, everybody? This is Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. Good to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Mr. Sneed Mobile Tech, we got you. We will give you a free SIM card to test out the service.
Oh, Charlie, I appreciate that, good sir.
We will give you our highest priority plan.
What's up, Lowe's?
Bro, Sling Blue and Sling Orange right now is the same price.
They're different offerings. Like, they have different collections of channels.
Yeah, I know, but it's still the same price.
$25, right, Moose?
No, 35 now. 35.
Oh, they went up $10.
Yeah.
Because they have to pay for my
back in the
gambling habit. I have a lot of poker chips to play today.
Los, I'm definitely digging the profile photo. That's very good. That looks like a very recent image.
There is an intro offer, though. There is an intro offer. It says only $10 for your first month. Get $25 off plus free DVR plus 200 hours for your first month. Yeah, very interesting. You see, maybe that's the key, right? Is that maybe because you have wireless with us, we'll give you a $25 credit on Sling, so it only becomes $10 a month.
What do you think? What do you think, Los?
Well, they're gonna target their customers first, and they're gonna give them good deals.
Do you think they're gonna have 20 million customers on the Dish network by 2023?
I don't see why not.
Do they have 30 million customers on the network by 2025?
I don't see why not. A lot of people are willing to try new things now.
Los, is your main line going to Dish?
If it's really good, why not? I would.
He can get one of my lines. He's not going to get my main line though.
But why wouldn't people give this a shot? This is going to be a true 5G network from the start. It's not this BS that we have right now. You know, and people are willing, and people are so into 5G right now that it's crazy. You know, they hate the fake icons.
Yeah,
they hate, the fact that every moment their phone goes LTE 5G. You know, they hate all that shit, bro. So people will be willing to give it a shot. I don't see why it would be an issue.
Cha-cha, the only issue that I see, dog, is this, bro. This is the only thing, bro. If they are coming in with a price point that's higher than AT&T's, there'll be an issue, bro.
But that's the thing. They're still gonna have leverage. You want to know why? Because AT&T doesn't know how to forgive people after 10 years of them defaulting on an AT&T bill, and they still make them want to pay it after they sent it to collections and got tax credits for it for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So yeah, they will gain them, unless AT&T changes that policy.
But what I'm saying is, bro, is that like, okay, let's see who is actually going to be the ones who are going to try Dish. I feel very strongly, after talking to several people, the only people that are really going to switch to Dish are people that are stuck with Verizon or T-Mobile or AT&T that they can't get a free phone that they want. And Dish might come out with a promo, and they'll try them out for the time being, you know?
And I see them targeting their current customer base.
Oh, yeah. Heavily.
They're going to give them good deals. They're going to be like, well, for an additional $50 than what you already pay, we can add two voice lines to that plan and have it all on one bill. I remember there's places where they already have fixed home wireless internet at guaranteed 100 megabit speeds.
Oh, we had
in
a
rural
super chat I
markets.
missed. Oh, I'm so sorry, Dave. Dang, but Dave, my bad. He said technically 12 gigahertz isn't millimeter wave. It's about 2.5 centimeters. Okay, so I guess maybe it isn't technically considered millimeter wave. I always thought that anything, above 6 gigahertz was considered to be, millimeter wave, but oh well.
It's the beginning part of millimeter wave from what I know. 12.
Yeah, because they don't license anything for wireless in between, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not yet.
No. Not yet. You ain't lying, bro. So, Moose.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot of things. Carlos wasn't here. Carlos, man, I'm asking you now. Who is Dish Wireless, Project Genesis? Whose customers are they going to be taking? Because they're not just getting new customers. These are people that already have lines. You got to get people porting. All right, so they're at Verizon, they're at AT&T, they're at T-Mobile, they're at MVNO, they're in prepaid. Whose customers are they taking?
To be honest, bro, they're gonna be taking those older legacy Sprint customers first.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because
Zero Cool is saying that anything 12 gigahertz is considered mid-band. Yeah, because KA I think is what, 26 gigahertz or higher or something like that. 26 to 40, 26 to 39 gigahertz, whatever. Okay, go ahead, Los.
so
The legacy, which legacy customers?
The legacy Sprint customers. That's why I think they're gonna go. They're gonna first migrate over because
They're
like
more liable to churn, right, Los?
Yep. Because my brother, he's had Sprint here, and it worked great here. It works excellent here. But now he said when he was forced to get the TNX SIM, his service went to trash. So, he couldn't deal with it anymore. So we had to switch him. So, that's right there. That's going to be the first one. Then after
Who are they
that,
going to get with that DraftKings, man? Who are they going to get with DraftKings? Who are they going to get with Sling? Who are they going to get with their offers? That's, I'm looking at this web page, right?
yeah.
And I'm just like, it doesn't give us any. I mean, it kind of has like a new wave feel to it, so they're going to obviously try to distinguish themselves from anything that's going on right now. Verizon's going to be the fast carrier. They're going to be the ultra wideband carrier. They're going to be the fixed wireless access competing with cable carrier. AT&T is going to I think they're going to be the coverage king. I think they're going to build towers everywhere, and with that first net push, and they're going to be competitive with Verizon. And I think T-Mobile will continue to be more of like what they are now. A lot of marketing, a lot of hype, continuing, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, a lot of that. So, responding to all the issues that come up as they come, reactive instead of proactive. So to me, I feel like Dish can carve its own lane and just be different, and create a unique experience both with customer care, plans, and features.
I can see Dish being the all-in-one stop shop to rival AT&T in that market. That's what I'm seeing. What I can see Dish doing, because think about it, they have TV already, so they already have that in their pocket, and I don't know how they get it at an affordable rate, but they got that on lockdown. And then on top of it, now they're gonna have the wireless. In some areas, they already have fixed home internet.
They do.
All they
They
gotta do is
offer 100
expand it.
megabit, right?
Yeah,
And they have several markets, Los, with millimeter wave.
And with Dish, what a lot of people did not know, depending on your market, there's a SIM card on your Dish receiver, and you can get your signal wirelessly. And the only time it will use the Dish is the wireless part fails, then it'll switch over to the dish.
Yeah, that's how it
As
is
a-
over here in what county is that, man? I think it's Grafton County. Yeah.
That's how it is here.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
So
out
that
here,
the IMEI eyes on the boxes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can unplug the satellite wire from the back, coaxial from it, and it will still broadcast fine. It'll be broadcasting no problem. It's just for backup.
Cody says,
So-
do you think the FirstNet coverage expansion will force Verizon to expand its network more? I mean, if they
Why
want to
not?
compete, yeah. If they're going to compete, right? What do you think, Moose?
I don't think. I honestly think that AT&T is competing against the clock. They're not competing against anybody. They're competing against the contract terms of the FirstNet expansion. Because if I'm not mistaken, there was somebody from AT&T speaking about FirstNet, which I believe it was Jason Porter, the top dog for FirstNet, and he mentioned that 95%. We're at 95% now. Then the rest, 5%, is going to be the hardest part. And they have to get it done by 2024. They have to complete it. So I think it's a race against time. Honestly.
They're close, though, Moose.
No, but Sneedman, 95%. That extra 5% is, we're talking about in the tallest mountains and the furthest, gorges. Like, we're talking about places where nobody has service right now.
So when are they going to start using the HPUE on band 14?
Right.
So basically, they will have service in the gorge soon between Vegas and St. George, because the only carrier that does is Verizon. And Sprint did, but that's gone now.
Sprint did?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, Cha-Cha, we've talked about it. It's coming. It is coming for this year, that part of the 15.
Man.
It's going to be very nice.
Because Verizon just did upgrades on there because they used to be dog slow. Not anymore.
Yeah, maybe we're Cow 205. Dish is probably going to play big to cord cutters, bundle the 5G service and Sling. That would be a cord.
But now this is the thing about cord cutting, Sneed. Where did Sneed go? Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
This is the thing about cord cutting.
Yeah.
Is a lot of people are trying it already. But what are people doing after 2-3 months? They're going back to traditional TV. You want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because in order to get all their favorite programming, they got to have at least minimum signed up to 3 apps. 3 apps. Do the math on how much you're going to be spending on that. Plus, you got to have a good broadband connection. You got to have a good high quality connection. You can't do it off of the government subsidy of the $29.99 package. You gotta have at least the $80 package to be able to stream all your TVs at once, and have a unbuffered, 1080p or 4K experience, which a lot of the, those how do you call it, cord cutting solutions do not offer true 4K,
right?
Like traditional. So at the end, these people are like, damn, I'm paying for 3 different packages. I'm paying $100 and something because YouTube TV alone is $65. So I'm paying about $100 just in that. Then I got to pay another $80 for my home internet. That's $180 I'm paying just to have TV. Or I can go to like Dish Network or something and pay $70 and have all 4 TVs covered. And when I want to be on the go, I have the Dish mobile app and I can watch it on the go.
What do you guys think about 2 plans for Dishwire for the Project Genesis? Just like your starter unlimited and then like an elite access, 4K video streaming, 100 gigs of hotspot and tethering. What is the lossless audio require, Moose?
Oh my god, dude! So I've been testing that.
Ooh, a lot.
I've been testing it, Sneedman. So Let me just do a quick recap for people who don't know. 14.6, iOS 14.6 enables you to have lossless audio on your Apple Music. It officially launched this last Tuesday. Since then, you know, Sneed, I've been talking to Carlos, the Cha-Cha, of course. It's a massive amount of data that you need for your stream. So I've been exclusively streaming. I don't have anything downloaded right now just to test it on iOS 15. It does take about 15 seconds to download the song, to stream it.
If you're under 25 Mbps.
Right. So, you know, Sneedman, it's a significant amount of bandwidth that you need.
Bro, I had, what was it? I had about 3,000 songs downloaded on my phone.
Yeah.
Just so in case, you know, I go in an area where service sucks, at least I still got music.
Right.
So I converted, I went to the settings, changed it all to the highest quality.
Right.
Bro, I had 97 gigs available still on my iPhone 512.
You see how much?
When I did that, it went from 97 to 12 gigs left.
You see, Sneedman? We're talking about a massive increase. Not a little. Huge.
Massive.
Yeah.
That's a lot of memory. One song takes about 40 to 60 megabytes. There you go, megabytes.
That's right.
And that's a 3-minute song.
Right. There's also the not just lossless audio, but there's also Dolby Atmos incorporated, and there's also high res plus Dolby Atmos. So we're talking about a song that now just went up to like maybe a gig worth of file space, just one song.
Bro, but it sounds so good though on my stereo, because my stereo has Dolby 7.1 in my car. Oh man, it sounds good.
Let me see what it said here. T-Mobile can't run lossless audio. Is that true? None of their plans support it?
I haven't tested it. Do you want me to test it?
Los, what plans do you have access to?
Magenta Max and One Plus International with the Plus Up feature.
Okay, so you have the two best plans. Okay. Yeah,
I mean, I do got great. Apple Music on both, so I can test that.
That would be great. Are you going to make any content covering it?
Why not?
Okay, that'd be a cool video.
I did not know that that's...
It's a music feature. Remember, they give you a specific, you know...
I mean, I don't think so, bro. I think it should stream. As long as you have the speed, I don't see why it would be an issue. As long as you have at least 25 Mbps, you should be fine without buffer.
Hey, William, good to see you. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is I would go ahead and test it. And, you know, that'd be good to know, because I know there's some people with Magenta that aren't even going to, you know. Essentials and Magenta's out of the question, I would assume. Right, Moose? I mean, Moose, I'm getting 1.5 megabits for the video.
But
there's no way I'm getting lossless audio.
But honestly, man, a lot of people are underestimating Dish, man. I really cannot wait till I get access to that SIM card, man. And I actually might have early access to a SIM. I'm talking to the guy right now. I'm texting. So I might be able to get a little sneak access. Hopefully.
Sebby's saying that 15 megabits could work.
Well, I'm just saying
15 megabits. Yeah, 20 is probably good, enough wiggle room, right?
Yeah, to give it wiggle, you know. But 15, of course, it'll work with 15. But
because I mean, if you're not getting,
you're gonna wait.
If you're not getting a constant 100 to 150 all day, there may be times where you dip into the 10, 20 range, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Sprint did 500 kilobits per second. And Plus and Premium were 1.5 megabits. That's trash, bro.
Yeah,
you couldn't even do Pandora Premium or Spotify Premium with that.
no, but the title, I had the title with Sprint.
Yeah, but it
I
was
still
like 0
have it,
rated,
but
wasn't it?
I don't know if it's 0 rated or not because I do see the data go up when I do listen to it, but it does work fine without buffer, and I have it on the highest setting.
Oh, data does go up, so then it's not 0 rated. But it might be 0 rated in terms of the speed, right? Like it wouldn't be capped.
Maybe because it was their product.
Right. And they had ownership in it, didn't they?
Yeah, like 30-some% or something like that. But a lot of people who underestimate Dish, man, don't underestimate them yet. We want them to win. We need them
We
to
sure
win.
do, bro. We sure do. I totally agree with you, Los.
This is going to be the first. I'm excited because it's going to be the real first 5G network. Real, like it's not.
Because we're pretty bummed out with the latency performance thus far, Los.
Mm-hmm. The only one
come
that has
on, man.
decent latency latency is, mmWave, and then some places that has good backhaul for N41. Other than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but even then, the best N41 I've seen is like 11 or 13 milliseconds. The best millimeter wave I've seen was like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 milliseconds.
I've seen 3 and 4 here.
Wow. Must be Ericsson gear.
I've seen one MS on Verizon.
Really?
Yeah.
Millimeter wave.
Millimeter wave, yeah.
Where? Which market?
Dallas, bro.
Jeez, man.
Now, let me ask you this, though.
Kudos to that network engineer.
Let me ask you this, though. Cha-cha. Are you still seeing N41 congestion? Because, dude, I was in Southern California for 2 weeks. I was shocked how bad N41 is congesting now.
Let me tell you something about the SoCal area, bro, as a region, as a market. There are people that are leaving comments in my videos saying that T-Mobile is king in SoCal. And then there are comments of the contrary saying that it's congested and it's trash. Why is there so much variation in the perception of the performance of T-Mobile there? It really must just depend on the location, because some people are saying, "Oh, it's great," and then other people are saying, "Oh, it's been awful for me." I'm assuming.
Go ahead.
I'm assuming that for the people that say it's been awesome and it's king, they're probably connected to the same 4 or 5 sites. Because something tells me it. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Cha-cha, take the first one.
What up?
What's your perception of T-Mobile in Southern California?
I've been there, bro, and it's a mixed bag. It really is. Some places it's okay. I'm not gonna downplay it, but in those areas that it's okay, it's high wealth. So you have people that are with AT&T and Verizon because it's high wealth, and there you see AT&T and Verizon struggle versus T-Mobile. It's decent, it's really good, at times too. But then when you go to areas where it's middle class or lower middle class, stuff like that, that's where you see, in a lot of the Hispanic neighborhoods, that's where you see it really hit hard.
Right, and that's because the majority of those people are on T-Mobile.
Yep.
And they're using the spectrum for their home internet, for all this stuff, because it's, they'd rather pay for their phone than pay for Wi-Fi at home. Yep. And by the way, let me tell you this, and I feel really bad to say this, but in the socioeconomic areas that are very tough areas, and there's only one cable provider, Spectrum, Xfinity, etc., they don't care about fixing their quality of service. I realized that today because I had an issue over the weekend, just a few hours ago, that Spectrum didn't give a damn that the entire street went down for several hours. Nobody fixed the problem.
Sheesh. So they just left it unattended to?
They left it, unsupervised. Doesn't matter to them, bro. They didn't matter, bro.
Wow.
And you know what else? You know what the issue was? AT&T in the same area, the same place, even though it only offers 50 by 10, it never goes down. Shocking. Shocking, bro. But anyways, going back to the T-Mobile situation, Steve, man, I'm going to be very honest with you. People who say that T-Mobile is great are in an area that there's not many T-Mobile customers in Southern California. Because if they were to go to the places that I've been, where the market share in that area
Rancho's
is
horrible.
Yeah,
when I was in Rancho, just was it like a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
Bro, horrible, dude. I was on N41 getting only 2 Mbps, bro.
Yeah.
On negative 75 RSRP.
Bro.
Yeah, it was bad.
Hey, I can take you to a shopping center, multiple shopping centers, where 90% of the customers there are on T-Mobile or Metro. N41 is so congested, you'd rather switch to LTE, dog. Jesus.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, the LTE was better. I won't deny it. Because when I disconnected it, it went up to 30 Mbps.
You see? This is not a joke, dude. The thongs are literally flooding the comments thinking that, oh, yeah, it's great everywhere. God damn.
Because out here in Vegas, bro, I'm gonna tell you, bro, like in Vegas, it's a mixed bag too, bro. You know, like in my side of town, bro, you already know.
Let the Times roll is saying that in Glendale they have no indoor penetration.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the band 71 like over there? Do we have interference issues? Do we have a situation where certain frequencies are being powered down?
I found out this, Need. Remember how I told you out of nowhere my home tower got N41 signal, and then
yeah, but you said it was congested. There was no backhaul and stuff.
Yeah, it's bad, you know, because I'm only getting like 10 Mbps and stuff. But you want to know what's the? Remember how I told you I had N71 and I would get about, you know, give or take, you know, 100 Mbps at nighttime, and in the daytime be like 30, 35. Well, the reason why I found out that my N71 disappeared out of nowhere and it does not connect, I can force it. It does not connect unless I'm literally right under the tower. And that's because they down tilted the tower and turned the power down because there's 2 hospitals nearby, like literally within a half a mile of each other.
So they're
in opposite directions.
It's an interference problem.
Yeah, so they turned it down.
We got down tilt and power reduction.
Yeah, they did, bro. And that's why I cannot connect at my home to N71 anymore.
Let's see here. Aaron says if you go around town, the speeds jump around drastically. And that's kind of the impression I'm getting. I live in a smaller. This is Albert. If he says I live in a smaller city or town, there's a handful of good T-Mobile towers. It's usually the newer, the updated ones. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're getting the full LTE modernization, and they're getting the 5G NR upgrades. Right. So
bro, it's sad, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. The worst
T-Mobile.
part about it is, Sneedman, I'll tell you this. I was at Ontario Airport not 48 hours ago, okay? Inside the terminal, N71, doing between 10 to 30 at max 30, okay? This was at midnight. So imagine when it's a little bit more populated, it's going to go down, right? We are in multiple different airports. DFW Airport, Ontario Airport, LAX, let's not even get me started. They don't have enough capacity for all the passengers. So unless they have in-building solutions, N41 on the outside is not going to penetrate 2 miles away inside of a building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's see here. Shane says we only have LTE 41, no 5G. I get 155 down, 4 on the up on the band 41. So he's still on Sprint band 41. Santiago says I can confirm the same is happening in San Jose near a couple of hospitals with T-Mobile almost unusable. And Sebby chimes in, the FCC needs to fix the interference issues. It's going to be a problem in a lot of instances and cases.
So somebody needs to fix it because this is crazy, bro. Like, basically, it made basically everybody that had T-Mobile in that area is switching, bro. Because they're like, why am I going to stick around when now it's really unusable? You know, at least it was still decent, you know, with the N71, bro. Because the N71 did help. I'm not going to downplay it.
Amin says, IAD airport a week ago, I had 0.1 megs down on N71. 0.1. What are you going to do with that, Lowe's?
I don't know. Hope I can make a call.
Oh, and that's another thing.
Zero Cool chimes in, I do more penetration than oh, cha-cha.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
That's another thing, Sneed, man.
What's up, Tito?
That we got to talk about. So there's going to be this concept that we talked about in the last one, phantom coverage. Unless you're right in front of the cell site, like others have now said, Cha-Cha over here, Carlos has said it. Other people have said it, that it's basically unusable. You're not going to be able to use your phone, bro. It is what it is.
Unbelievable, Moose. It's going to be a problem for a long time. It's not just going to fix itself. You know, I was thinking about the solutions. I mean,
But the thing is this: the FCC knew that they were going to sell the spectrum. Why did they allow hospitals to still continue purchasing equipment that was in that spectrum range if they knew they were going to sell off the spectrum? You know what I'm saying, bro? And they knew it was going to be used for a higher technology later on in the future, which is 5G.
So a lot of this goes on the FCC, Los.
I would say, yes.
Yeah.
It's them to blame because they should have said, well, you know what? We can't sell this frequency because of this, or we need to start
but T-Mobile is dying for low band.
Or we start revoking the licensing on the hospital equipment and make them go into like 1.4 or something like that, a frequency that's not used by anything.
Yeah, therein lies the issue, is the equipment itself, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, we can't really put the whole blame on T-Mobile because they're just deploying the spectrum. They're just finding out about it probably themselves too, and they're like, "Oh, damn, you know, we're like, what do we do now? You know, this thing is taking out machines that can kill people. You know what the hell? What do we got? You know, what can we do? And the only thing they know how to do is just turn it down and down tilt it. That's all they can do for right now until they figure out a fix with the FCC or with whoever vendors. You know, maybe they can figure out a filter or something, bro. But other than that, until the FCC steps in and say, hey, you know what, man? You guys need to stop. You know, no more hospital equipment made in 600 megahertz range. Has to be 1.4 or 1.3. You know, those frequencies that are not used. If not, then you know we can't sign it. We can't, how do you call it? Approve any permits for new hospital equipment in that range.
Right. I mean, I thought the least they could do was offer some kind of a filter solution for the affected equipment,
or
discontinue the use of the equipment.
This is another one they can do, and this one will have to be done on the T-Mobile side though. Is turn off 71 near the hospitals, deploy a couple of small cells in front of the hospitals with just mid-band only and N41, you know, and then offer these hospitals indoor DAS systems, and then offer them FirstNet because they have indoor DAS right there in the hospital. Why not? Now at the same time as you're building something, you can sell something. You get what I'm saying? So it's like a 2-in-1.
You think they're really going to do the small cells, man? They've said they've tried to move away. They want to be a macro-based provider.
Well, that's what I'm just saying. Like, that can be a solution, and that can be done faster.
I agree. I think that those are more along the solutions I would look at. I would look at the DAS. I would look at the small cells near the hospitals
only,
themselves. Not just mid-band. You could do band 12. I know it's only going to be 5 megahertz, but you could start with that.
Yeah,
I really think, Los, that there is the potential for at least deal with the upper block 600 megahertz. Moose is convinced that it won't work. It's still going to have interference issues.
They've already said it does a little bit, but not to the point. And I'm not gonna lie, that's where kind of Dish wins in a way, because they have the upper block. So they won't have as many issues.
What are you saying?
I mean, they'll still have them, but not as many.
You're talking about the
upper block. Yeah.
You know, I was talking to one of my friends, T-Mobile Engineering. I worked with him back in 2016. I asked him about that. Right, if there could be like a massive guard band. He said there's still going to be interference either way. So
because the frequencies are that close?
Because they're that close. Yep.
It depends on the area, how they have it deployed. So, okay, so like let's say Sneed, your hospital uses the equipment that the frequency is 608, 609 megahertz, all right? Mm-hmm. So boom, that's your hospital, what they're using. And then N71 that's deployed out there is in 615 megahertz to 630 megahertz block, in that block range, let's say. So that's pretty damn close. And with the way they're transmitting at high power, yes, it can interfere because it's pretty damn close.
Gotcha.
It sucks, bro. It really does. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like it because there shouldn't be any issues. But, this is the situation that magenta thongs have to deal with. And it's a sad day because I would never recommend anybody that works at a hospital, an EMT, paramedic, nurse, doctor, if you work at a hospital, never be on T-Mobile. Look at all the issues you're going to have, right?
So a first responder is a no-go?
Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah,
they just did that first responder plan, too.
Irrelevant plan. Trust me. I mean, Carlos, what do you think about this, man? Do you really think that people should go on that?
I mean, it's hard to, bro. But if they did what I say that they can do, that would be a good marketing gig for them. That's what T-Mobile doesn't understand when they're talking about, oh, we want to be more of a macro-based network. It does not work that way because you want to offload this traffic into small cells. You don't want 100%. Your macros to be overloaded. Those are the heart of your network. You need the veins, and the small cells are the veins to your network that flow the blood to the macro. Like that's what they don't understand, bro. Like that will help them. Indoor DAS is gonna for sure help them.
Expensive.
We've seen what Verizon's been able to do with so little spectrum, just by taking the small cell approach and truly densifying the network.
I'm telling you, if they do that, the small cells at the hospitals, bro, near the hospitals, they don't have to put as many as they think, just enough.
Well, I mean, one at the hospital is gonna. I mean, that's instant. That's instant solution for calling.
I say 3 total. 3 total. You do in a triangular.
I'm just saying one's gonna get the hospital covered for call and text.
Well, you want the outside because if they're gonna take down the 71 from the macro, then you want to be able to have that general vicinity area. So you do, let's say about 3.
But I think a small cell maybe a half a mile away would be more important there.
Yeah.
Not 2 at the hospital.
Well, not at the hospital, but like in the vicinity.
I'd say within a mile they should do 3 small cells.
There you go. And then for inside the hospital, you do an indoor gas system.
Sure.
Who cares if it's LTE only? Because it's still going to be pushing 300 Mbps, and then you sell your first responder plan at the same time there to your people.
Man, you guys are hard out there on T-Mobile. This guy, Cody, man, going in a little bit. Cody says, pretty sure you could hire a snail and he would be a better engineer than what T-Mobile has right now. Sheesh.
God damn.
Yeah. Wow. Sebby says that Moose is exaggerating a lot.
Hey, it is what it is. I might be exaggerating, but at the end of the day, I have people on record that are telling me what they're telling me, and it's a very chaotic situation.
Mav says most use AT&T and Verizon. Chernobyl, not even an afterthought. Sheesh.
How's
seems
that
like
spread, Maverick?
everybody seems pretty down on the situation. I wonder how widespread the issue is. I can actually test. I've got a hospital within a few, maybe 5 miles of me. So it's something that I could definitely test. I could see what bands I connect to, and then I could see what band 71 is doing once I approach the building. And of course, I can go into the emergency room entrance and test. Wow. A lot of risk, Moose, if things hit the fan.
One of the things that I'm really worried about is, let's say you're a person like in Carlos's case, right, where he's not immediately in the parking lot of the hospital, but he's in the vicinity where he has noticed degradation, right? Like the signal has degraded enough to where he's noticed it. What happens if he tries to make a 911 call and it doesn't work? See, like that freaks me out, dude.
Systemic failure, yeah.
That should be an engineer's worst nightmare, is if you get told we had over 1,000, I mean, even one 911 call that didn't go through because of a network situation is unacceptable. But let's say you had in the thousands range. We're talking about massive lawsuits, man, straight up.
Well, it did happen. It happened to Verizon, was it, the other day, too? We got to call a spade a spade. Verizon had a system issue, too, and 911 did not work, and that's unacceptable either. 911 should always fall back on every carrier should have their 911 system fall back on the next nearest provider.
Is all this circling back to the FCC?
Basically. This is FCC. To me, this is FCC screw-ups, bro.
Yeah, that's the impression I'm getting. They're putting T-Mobile in a hard spot. They're putting the equipment manufacturers in a tough spot. I mean, networking is already challenging. Like, do we need more obstacles? Really? Like, is that necessary?
They want all this, but they don't want to budge on a little of that. That's the problem.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Cha-Cha. That was completely unacceptable.
Yeah, I'm not gonna downplay it, bro. Because when T-Mobile's screwed up, we were on them too, bro. It's only fair that we're on Verizon too, bro. They really fucked that one up, bro. And I'm sorry to say, but it's true, bro. That was the biggest one.
Yeah. Because imagine, bro, people on Verizon will definitely sue, bro. That's no question about it.
Oh yeah, because they got pockets, bro. Lawyers on speed dial and everything, bro. They'll sue.
They will definitely be suing. And the worst part about it is that all this doesn't really get brought up in the media is because it's all settled out.
Because the FCC wants it quiet. Because at the end, if they do a real thorough, deep investigation, they'll see, yes, T-Mobile had an issue. Yep, they'll see T-Mobile had an issue, Verizon had an issue, but at the end, it all falls back on the FCC. Because honestly, bro, they should not have an issue to let it fall back even on AT&T's FirstNet, that call. You want to know why? Because the FCC gave them that spectrum, so it should be utilized even if Verizon customer had to or a T-Mobile customer. If it's available and it can make that call to 911, it should be used on that network. Because regardless, at the end of the day, it was a federal spectrum that was given to AT&T.
Yep, absolutely. And that's why I was saying to, anytime there's
major issues.
yeah,
These are systemic failures. I mean, doesn't the FCC have to answer this at some point?
Not if they continue settling out of court and under the radar. No.
I mean, even the carriers got to get involved and probably have to say something. Like, you're just going to try to be in the good graces of the FCC? I mean, eventually you have to care about somebody other than your own company. Come on, man.
Well, what it's going to take is a humongous lawsuit that makes the press. Instead of people worrying about making lawsuits to worry about gaining financial gains in their pocketbooks, they do it to make a change. Then maybe then. But when they hear the financial compensation, they sign the NDA and that's it.
NDA, yeah, and then it's hush money at that point.
Yep.
Here's another thing that I wanted to mention that somebody was telling me on the comments the other day. Apparently, no carrier guarantees coverage. Can you believe that?
It's facts. It says it on their coverage map.
Yeah, it's like they can never guarantee coverage. I was like, what? Not even outside, right in front of a cell site. Wow, you can't guarantee it.
No guarantees.
Wow.
And that's an FCC regulation. Because remember, all these regulations that these carriers write, they have to get seen by the FCC before they publish them.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you.
It's disheartening, to be honest with you.
Let me ask you guys this. Going back to the Dish situation, do you believe that all these carriers have exclusive non-competes with their like their extra bonuses? So, like, for example, would the Disney bundle be able to be also offered to a T-Mobile customer?
How?
No, I'm asking, do you think that they have non-compete clauses?
Sure. I mean, you couldn't run. Well, actually, isn't there an issue right now with Paramount and Discovery? Conflict of interest?
Paramount and Discovery.
Yeah, like with Verizon and the AT&T merger.
How so? This is new.
Weren't they providing a service as an included feature set?
Paramount Plus and then Discovery Plus? What are you talking about?
What was Verizon offering as a perk in their bundle?
Discovery Plus.
Okay. I mean, there's no conflict of interest with the merger between them and AT&T?
I think they're just going to not be able to offer it anymore. That's all it is, right?
So at some point, there's a terminus. There's going to be an end. Whereas it just discontinues that perk.
Right. Correct. Because from all signals that I've seen from the media, Discovery will be merged into HBO Max,
Yeah, it'll just be the content just goes into that singular platform.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Bro, there's too many damn streaming services, bro. This is crazy, bro.
They all want to monetize their platform by itself so they can generate more revenue.
This is why, bro, I am traditional, bro. I get all the same channels that you guys do, but I pay less.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and support Cox Communications, bro. It's trash.
Well, no. There's options, bro. Like, you got to do the math, like.
I've done the math. It's cheaper for me to take what Verizon gives me and me just have YouTube TV.
Mm-hmm.
So you have okay. So aren't you got the? But aren't you paying for the higher Hulu Plus TV too?
Just regular Hulu.
Or I thought you had the TV version too.
No, I have YouTube. No, I have YouTube TV. I have the live YouTube TV. I used to have Hulu Live.
Yeah, that's the one that had the geolock BS.
Yeah, I was having a problem. So even if I was running the lowest mobile home internet, or if I was running back when I had the T-Mobile home internet, it didn't work either. The Verizon home internet did. It worked. It was good. So I ended up pivoting at the time of the T-Mobile home internet because of that whole freaking mobile network lock.
So here, let's do the math real quick. So you're paying $65 for that. Then you're paying about for 3 home internet services. So that's 50-50. And then about, whatever your sweet deal is. So you're talking about $180 to $190 a month just to keep your connection alive for TV right now, with your 3 home internet solutions plus the actual TV.
Oh, I only have one home internet solution. I don't have the T-Mobile home internet anymore, and I gave the Verizon home internet to my pop at his house.
Oh, okay.
So it's just the one. What's up, Tyrone?
Hey, what up, Tyrone?
Man. Oh shit! Oh shit!
What's going on, Tyrone?
Oh damn! Oh man, we got to do an intro song for Tyrone.
Hello, Mr. Tech Life.
We got to do an intro
Charlie.
song.
I will give you a SIM card with full access.
I'm telling you, man. This is Tyrone's theme song, man. I'm telling you.
Finger snaps and all, huh?
Exactly, the snaps, man. Anyways, man, it's been too long, Tyrone. What the hell, man?
Yeah, I just got done working out. I had to do some sprints in the sand dunes.
Oh, man. Dude, you're braver than me, man. I was up on a hill today.
How hot is it over there, Tyrone?
Shit, I got in my car as 125.
121 right now.
Bro, we got off cheap today. It was like 71 degrees today in the CLE.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was that here.
We're going to have another one tomorrow, man. It's been like air conditioning out here.
Shit.
Wait. So are we going to go in hot with Tyrone's takes about all this?
Go ahead, Tyrone. Let the, let the levee break, man. Go ahead.
So I saw it earlier that, you can now sign up for the SIM cards.
Mm-hmm.
You guys think it's too soon?
I mean, where's the network at?
Yeah, I know. I had like 3 people email me that have like Boost partnerships, and I'm like, there's no towers here. What do you want me to test?
Well,
God damn.
I do have a confirmation of one of my Patreon supporters. He did receive confirmation. He does qualify for the service on the first markets. And I think he's in Chicago. Don't quote me. The last I checked, I remember him possibly mentioning he was in Chicago. Vegas is officially market number 1. And I think Colorado's going to be, so expect like the Boulder, Denver area, in there as well. Longmont.
So,
Tyrone, what about a trip to Vegas, bro? What's going on?
That's the only way. That's the only way to do it. You would have to travel to a market that actually has a network.
What's going on, bro? I'll see you here, bro. I got you. I'll get you hooked up on a hotel-y, on a fire hotel-y. Talking about the suite, bro. We got you.
Oh shit. Yeah, that'll be the only way, because I bet a lot of people that are trying to sign up are probably not getting accepted because they don't have a network.
I know Sneed and I, we were talking, Tyrone, earlier before the call. I'm going to sign up to see if in Dallas market I'm able to get it. You know what I mean?
How do you know when you're able to get it? So I went on the website, I put in my zip code, and it said email and phone number, and that's it.
So I have, like I said, I have a Patreon supporter who sent me a message, and he said that he did get a confirmation notification. Congratulations, you're on the list to be an original founder and this, the first true 5G network. Check your email for more details soon.
Yeah, what's his name? Therald and Ochala got it too, but he knows by checking he checked the city's permit sites. There's about 25 to 27 towers coming for Dish in his area.
Also, Tyrone, there was somebody who was in here earlier who actually works for a tower company. He didn't want to disclose it. I didn't ask him. I don't need to know.
Yeah.
Nope. Works for a tower company, and Dish was inquiring about rooftop sites in New York City and Philadelphia, and some of these large, highly populated markets, as well as some random rural places. Like he mentioned a city in Pennsylvania that I had never heard of before. There's one in Missouri that he might have mentioned as well. If he's still around, if you could chime in, that would be great. But it was very early in the live chat. I'll see if I can go back to it. I guess I can't. But yeah, it was definitely there.
I haven't received no email yet. Back. How long does that email take?
I don't know. I have bigger fish to fry. Right now, I got freaking scammers in the comment sections of my videos trying to sell stuff.
What?
There's like scammers having conversations in the comment section of my videos trying to scam people out of money. And YouTube's doing nothing.
Yeah, I have to manually report them.
Yeah. YouTube really needs to address that.
Yeah, somebody was putting comments in the video saying that they can get you like $1,500 for Verizon or something like that.
Yeah. You're going to have to, Josh, go back to the beginning of the video. I literally was probably within the first 10 or 15 minutes of the live stream. We're already in like 2 hours, so.
But just to give you my hot take, and I think we talked about this already, Sneed. As the wireless industry now is going to get capital intensive because AT&T and Verizon are going to clearly kill themselves over leadership. AT&T made that very clear.
And T-Mobile too.
Correct. AT&T made that very clear by letting go of media that they want to fight for that leadership in wireless. Verizon is not going to give it up easy, and
No.
T-Mobile is not going to be able to spend $10 billion forever. They're going to have to go up in capex at some point.
Have to increase their capex by 50 to 60% to compete.
Exactly. So, in reality, if we're being realistic, what leg does Charlie really have to stand on in that type of environment? Maybe he doesn't need to necessarily have the best network and he can build as they grow. But I don't know if that concept will work because it didn't work for Sprint.
Yeah, but Sprint had setback after setback. That's what really killed them. They never had a committed network plan. They changed network plans 3 times in 5 years.
Correct. That is true. But if we're going based off of that, Dish will have like a regional model at the beginning before they build out into like a nationwide coverage, then Sprint towards the later parts of the years, they got better. They weren't the best, but the network was plausible in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
And they still didn't really make that significant of an impact in the industry. Nobody was really responding to any of their offers. They were like, yeah, whatever. The Kickstarter plan, whatever. That's how AT&T and everybody looked at it.
Well, the only time I remember Sprint having positive the last 3 years was when they did Kickstarters. And they were free. All they had to do was pay taxes. Yeah.
And they started doing like 100, 200,000 lines a quarter or whatever. But by then it was already too late. They didn't have the nationwide network. They had to pay for a bunch of roaming deals. So it just wasn't going to work. Like you said, they had several setbacks. But what kind of setbacks is Dish going to have? I mean, that's going to be interesting to see. They're going to have some setbacks as well.
But they have the T-Mobile network as it's literally they can hang on the T-Mobile network for 7 years.
Now that's the only potential positive that I see out of the situation. So Charlie can grow his base using the T-Mobile network, but eventually T-Mobile is likely going to charge him more too, because data rates are exploding.
They can't. That those rates are fixed according to the DOJ.
Yeah, but that shit is not going as planned anyway. I mean, they're backtracking so much now. It's insane.
It's a really horrible situation, Tyrone, where
It is.
Charlie Morgan and Mike Sievert and those guys, they're not even on the same page.
Nope.
Let alone even in the same, honestly. They want to lease spectrum for free. They don't want to pay. They had to step in, Tyrone, literally 6-7 months after the murder, just to make.
Yo,
What's up, Los?
phone died.
You got
All
another
right, here's
one?
another question. Tyrone, what do you think their prices are going to be?
I mean, I would say lower than the competition, but how much lower are they going to go? It's going to be a race to the bottom. They're already trying to stretch 10 billion over 7 years. What are they going to do? 5 lines for $100? 6 lines for $100? I mean, what are they going to do? T-Mobile's doing free lines.
I would think they've got to price similarly to T-Mobile, but they've got to offer something better in the form of a feature or a perk.
I think they can throw that Sling TV in there, but I hear people have mixed feelings about Sling TV. Some say it's good, some say it's not. I mean, it's kind of a 50-50 on that end.
Well, they haven't had growth in a couple of years.
Yeah. And that's clearly one thing they can't do. They can't price like everybody else. They can't be as similar to AT&T or Verizon. That just can't happen.
No.
There's no way.
Yeah, who would in their right mind would leave AT&T or Verizon with that network pedigree and then go to a unknown commodity?
Yeah.
Unproven.
And that's another thing too. I mean, Dish is unproven. I mean, they may have people on the team now that they're collecting that have a track record. They were Sprint executives, some T-Mobile perhaps, that may be able to give them some insight of what they believe.
And Open RAN is unproven too. Tyrone.
Exactly. It is unproven. And a lot of them are saying it's still in the early stages. It could be years before it's ready.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting as to how this happens. And I wonder what kind of vision the FCC and the DOJ had as to how this could potentially be a successful spinoff in creating the fourth player in Dish.
Well, we already know the FCC is track record is not very good, bro. Especially with all these interference issues, because we got to blame it on them, bro. At the end of the day, they sold the spectrum.
Yep.
And then the 911 issues, we have to blame it on them because they should have told every carrier, hey, if your network goes down or anything happens, they should fall back on band 14 FirstNet for the 911 call. So, yeah, we got to blame it on who the real cause is, and it's the FCC on a lot of it.
That is true, 100%. And I really don't blame Dish for any of it because they kind of were the chosen ones. T-Mobile kind of put them in that position so they can kind of just, kill them off right away. Like, hey, Dish, you're going to be a competitor, but, we're going to still shut off our CDMA network and we're going to take all your customers anyway. So that's kind of how that turned out. So, how is Charlie gonna answer to that? I mean,
oh God.
And we still haven't heard anything publicly from the FCC on that. So they're just gonna shut the CDMA off.
Hey Tyrone, this is what I was thinking too, bro. something was coming across my mind the other day about it. Okay, so we know that Verizon, Dish is giving promos to be able to have, give their customers Sling TV for a couple months. It depends on whatever the deal is.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe this can be something to the point where there could be like, well, you know what? We'll hook you guys up. We'll give you, let's say, we'll let you use our Sling TV to advertise to your customers, but give us a sweet deal on roaming access while we build out our network, and then they can't T-Mobile because they'll get a better deal than T-Mobile.
Oh, I always thought that from the beginning. That them and T-Mobile didn't see eye to eye anyway.
That's what I'm saying, to get rid of the problem, because Charlie already knows they're a problem.
Yep, that could happen. And I mean, Verizon's network is bigger anyway, so if you get a roaming deal, you're going to have better coverage than T-Mobile anyway.
They have a pre-existing relationship.
Yeah, I could see that working. I mean, Verizon likes the MVNO model. They like it, so
because they have to provide customer care.
So that I was thinking about that. I'm like, you know what? Maybe they are working on something. Maybe Charlie has some up his sleeve where he's gonna, bring it up, or something to them.
Yeah, but I still think Charlie has bigger fish to fry, man. He has to look for a bigger source of money that's going to help him with a huge cash infusion. That's the only way he's going to be a successful player in the wireless industry. He's got Amazon, Apple, somebody. He has to strike a deal with somebody.
Well, look at this. And this is where I was thinking another thing. I'm glad you brought it up. Why wouldn't they make something happen with Apple? Apple's talking about putting out their own NVNO for their phones. Why not strike a deal with Apple? And they're going to be a real true 5G core from the get-go. Everything's going to be, no NSA BS.
Bro, the reason why is because if Apple actually does make their own carrier, that will literally be the end of carriers. That'll be it. Done.
Well, no, if they team up with Dish. That's what I'm saying. They team up with Dish. They give them the capital, but then they can offer, when they sell their phones, they can offer Dish Wireless as their own brand, because it'll be MVNO and sell it to the customer when they buy the phone at the same time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that why would a customer not go with that versus the other competition? It's like the existential threat to any carrier is that a massive company like Apple, who by the way already sells you the phone, instead is going to say, you know what? You have Apple Care. Hey, by the way, you have the iPhone upgrade program. We're going to give you for $40 a month flat. That's it. To your Apple card, by the way, we'll give you $40 a month flat, Apple wireless, just Apple service.
Apple never go into that, Moose.
Huh?
Apple never go in on that.
You don't think so?
No.
They really wanted to. They really want to, bro.
As a wireless provider?
Yes.
Like an NVNO, yeah. Like
NVNO or wireless provider, either one. They want to go in.
Mm-hmm.
They want to sell everything in-house. One-stop shop for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I think they're perfectly content working with a few mobile network operators.
Well, for right now, but they've mentioned it, bro. They've mentioned that they want to do that. Like, that's their end goal, is to have everything as a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Then think about it. If they have their own NVNO, let's just say NVNO. So basically
they could be track phone, basically.
Yeah. So basically, what they'll do is, now that everything's all in one, they can service the service, they can service the phone, everything all in house, bro. So if somebody has issue with the service, instead of you having to depend on Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, they can just connect remotely through your phone, like how they do, and then troubleshoot it. Or you can go to an Apple store, which they're all over the damn place, and go and get help.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody's buying Verizon, man. Everybody needs to cut out. Like, that's a $300+ billion company.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if any other company had any interest in joining the wireless industry, Dish is the perfect opportunity. I know Amazon has mentioned it. Apple, I'm sure, is talking about it internally. This is the perfect opportunity to create that kind of partnership. And I know Charlie is a tough cookie to crack, but he'll eventually have to budge. He is going to need that partnership. Why is he going to need that partnership? Because AT&T and Verizon are turning up the heat. The one that's going to be threatened is T-Mobile if Dish creates that kind of partnership, because Verizon and AT&T are about to go into a whole another lane in terms of competing now into 5G. I mean, in the next 3 years, or I say 4 years after AT&T spins off media and they increase their capex, they're going to spend close to another $100 billion into their networks within that time frame. There's no way Dish can compete with that, and T-Mobile can't either.
I laugh when people, especially the thongs, say that the quality of service is going to be as good to Verizon's or AT&T's. I literally, no, Sneed, Carlos, I'm serious, because Tyrone and I, we've been talking about this for years now. It seems like years. How can you say that you're going to be able to compete against somebody that within the same time frame is spending 5 times as much?
Yeah. Yep. It's like I told somebody yesterday. I mean, I oversimplified it, but I was like, if me and you are working on a fixer-upper, a car, and I have more money, I'm going to be able to put better quality parts in that vehicle than you. You know, that's like oversimplifying it, but it's just a fact. I'm going to have the bigger engine, you know, better parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is. Like, there's nothing else to say.
They'll be able to have DAS systems in every hospital, every airport, every building in New York City.
Exactly.
You know?
And T-Mobile's not. I hear people
C-RAN.
I hear people say now that they're traveling to Vegas since it's open again on the Strip. T-Mobile's still garbage, even with the N41.
Thank you for verifying that, bro. I was about to say that. It's bad, bro. It's really bad. Yeah, I had to meet up a couple of the community members and give them total wireless SIMs because their T-Mobile, they couldn't even make a call in the casino.
Oh shit! Which one? The Link?
No, they were at the how do you call it? The New York. One of them.
Oh wow! One of
the other one was at the Paris.
That's a major problem still. And like you said this morning, Sneed, highways should not be a problem anymore for the carriers. And you know, for T-Mobile, it's still a problem, just like the indoor issues. It is still a problem in 2021.
See, the issue that I see, you know, like for example, there's this part of this highway 93, Highway 93, right? Or no, 63 from Las Vegas to Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Notorious for bad coverage with AT&T. But because of FirstNet, they had to fill it in, right?
Yeah.
By the end of this year, when Carlos drives down there again, no issues. None.
When is this?
I think there's already 2 or 3 cell sites already live.
I know Wickenburg, it got I think they converted the ComNet over to AT&T.
Yep, Wickenburg, and then above Wickenburg as well, there's about 2 cell sites turning online as well. But the infamous one, which was the one that you mentioned on Twitter, that one is also getting fixed up next year in 22.
Oh, okay. In between, what is it? Right when you hop onto the 93, in between, after you leave that first town, I think it's called, can't remember the name of it. Once you leave that town, in between there and Wickenburg, there's no service.
Right.
And even those gaps now, I mean, AT&T is about to start spending some serious cash. Like, we thought they spent a lot over the last few years. No, they're about to double that money in a lot of these markets that they're going to expand and densify.
So Tyrone, I was in my new cabin, bro, up there in Utah.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere, bro. Literally no address, no nothing. So Verizon works, works perfect. T-Mobile, no service unless I go out. I gotta walk west of my lot.
Oh shit.
Towards the main road, which is Utah Highway 24, and then AT&T did not work unless I walked to the main street that you would go to off-road the 2 miles to get to the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, I was there on the third night after I got back from fishing, and out of nowhere, AT&T has service in the cabin.
Oh shit.
I'm getting like 60 down and 68, 69 up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're spending insane amounts of money. I mean, it's just money that T-Mobile can only dream of spending. AT&T is about to pour into the network.
We're talking about threefold.
I mean,
I would be surprised if AT&T doesn't spend $30 billion with C-band the next annual capex.
Yes, I mean, just for example, just to give some numbers. So from 2020 to 2022, which is a 2-year time frame, there's about $142 million inbound for El Paso from AT&T, which a lot of people have told me is very, very low on the totem pole. That same time frame, a market like Chicago, which is of course a much bigger market for AT&T, within that same 2 years, AT&T is going to pour in $2 billion into Chicago for wireless needs. T-Mobile's annual capex is going to be $9 to $10 billion. I mean, AT&T is spending a quarter of that in just goddamn Chicago.
I was trying to explain this to Keon. I don't know. He literally, like, sometimes I wonder what some people are thinking. Like, I just don't understand. There's no way you can slice it. When you decrease capex, you reduce the potential of your network build. Right? You are literally putting up the white flag and saying, we can't sustain the investment at a high level. So when you regress, go from 12 billion to 9, you're essentially saying that you're done. You've done all you've had to do, and we know the only reason Verizon and AT&T have been so far in coverage has been correlated to spending.
Correct.
So by reducing the spending, you're putting up the white flag saying we're no longer expanding our network. We're in maintenance mode. You're going to maintain your current sites. And they've already said that they're going to be macro-based, so we're not going to see additional small cells on any scale. It's going to be retention of the ones they think they can need, and it's going to be the decom of the ones they feel are overlap.
Yep.
And then in 2 years, they're going to regret it. So in 2 years, we're going to see them regret shutting down and decomming small cells, and in 2 years, we're going to see them decreasing capex. And then, like having the conversation with Keon tonight on the Twitter space, he says it's going to be a diversion. He says T-Mobile lying, trying to trick people. That's speculation.
Yeah.
Why would you be looking for some tarot card, crazy off-the-wall crystal prediction? If they say the capex is going down, then assume it's going down.
Yeah, they can't publicly
What's up,
spin
Kimon?
it. They can't publicly spin it in that way because they're talking publicly to the investors. So if the investors see that they're lying,
lied to its investors, Tyrone.
Yeah,
they pull their money.
Yeah, they pull their money. They go elsewhere. So if T-Mobile is guiding, then the only change in the guidance could be an increase in the capex. But I mean, they've been on several conferences and they're saying it's not going to go up. They said that they feel they have enough money in the bank to pull it off. So I don't know.
Yeah, and and you're absolutely right. There's laws against rigging it for the investors, like saying, oh yeah, we're only going to spend this much, but reality is we're going to spend significantly more,
Yeah, you can't lie. There's no way you can lie because you're gonna have the SEC on you, and the investors are just gonna pull out their money and go elsewhere. And it doesn't matter anyway. T-Mobile doesn't pay a goddamn dividend, so none of the big investors are on them anyway. They're with Verizon and AT&T.
Verizon at what, like a 5% dividend?
Yeah, and Verizon's is about to go up too.
And then AT&T currently at a 7 almost.
Almost 7, about to go down.
Right, about to go down.
But
I hear that's overblown, by the way, Tyrone.
Well, that came from them. They said it.
I know. They're saying that the amount of like the magnitude of the decrease is overstated, and it's not going to be that bad.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, they're losing media. I mean, they're getting rid of it. So a 7% payout is, I don't think, justifiable anymore because they're not going to get that revenue from media. But I think with them as well, as they grow fiber, which I sent an article earlier to Moose. I mean, they're talking to the cable companies like, we're coming with our fiber product.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take your customers.
SMT Nation is going to be significantly upgraded very, very soon. I mean, there's activity happening daily now. Sneed's been telling me.
Yeah, it's coming. He'll start seeing them dig in the ground and all that other stuff, depending on what the scenario is. Maybe they already have fiber running from the central unit to the neighborhood. We don't know, but
they do. Right now, they're surveying properties to see where they're going to be digging and installing the main nodes.
Yep, it's supposed to be online, Tyrone, within the next 45 days.
Oh, shit! Yeah,
very close.
Yeah, that means they got the green light. They're coming.
Yeah,
that means the contractors are ready.
Now, here's the other thing that I was going to say. So, we talk about where the networks are. I know I saw Sneed's video about the first half of 2020. In the first half of 2020, it was barely ramping up the Band 41 upgrade. So I feel like by the end of 2021, I apologize. By the end of 2021, we'll see a significant amount of sites that have Band 41. But here's the problem. There's always going to be this doubt in my mind where if there's an area where it's a significantly populated area with T-Mobile customers, that area is going to definitely need much more assistance, because just by adding a Band 41 site, and even if you increase it to 100 megahertz, and even if you increase it to 10 gig backhaul, it's still going to become congested. I've seen it,
and here's the thing, and this is a very significant part and point that I always make. T-Mobile says they are upgrading the anchor network, so that's why I always state T-Mobile is upgrading to 5G. AT&T and Verizon are building 5G. That's a huge difference. T-Mobile stated when the merger was happening, and they had more confidence that it was going to be approved, they stated that out of the gates, they said 20 plus million Sprint customers had capable phones for N41 and B41. So that's already significant increase in traffic on a network that was built for standalone T-Mobile. That network was not built for the additional Sprint customers that they're enduring. And the bandwidth that they're putting on the networks now is just not enough. In some cases, it is, but in other cases, the sectors are completely overloaded, as we've seen. So as the demand grows, T-Mobile can, potentially push the bandwidth to 80 to 100 megahertz. But even that's going to get real tight soon if they don't start building additional macros and small cells to offload that additional traffic. And that's really the problem. And that's something that T-Mobile really didn't explain. And these analysts aren't really asking T-Mobile the right questions either. I mean, not to be
here's the other issue on that one. So the analysts have no idea, man, because I'm willing to bet that there's very few analysts. There's very few analysts that actually have a 5G phone, are out there testing the networks instead of just reporting what T-Mobile is saying about the network, or even AT&T or Verizon for that matter.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Moose. And the thing is too, the analysts, they sometimes ask questions that I'm like, okay, this is a good question, but then T-Mobile gives them like a BS answer, and then the analysts kind of just drop the topic. They don't push back or rebuttal. They just kind of leave it at that. So I'm like, it just sometimes it's like, okay, really, are they paying you, or what are they doing for you not to rebuttal them on those answers? I mean, some of those answers are just completely insane that T-Mobile gives. It's like, yeah, we got the most highway miles. What does that even matter? I mean, it's just another marketing term that they're pushing out. But like I said, not to oversimplify, but for everybody that's still watching, to kind of put it into perspective, if Sneed said I have 4 bedrooms that I can put people in, and I send him 20 people, his house is going to be full of people, overloaded. He won't be able to put them anywhere. And that's kind of the situation now with the T-Mobile network. All these Sprint customers are being TNX'd, and the T-Mobile network is like, hey man, I can't handle all these people. And that's really what's happening. And they're being very aggressive with that. And people are actually, in my emails, they're saying, hey, we received a text message that we were to go to the next T-Mobile store and get new SIMs, and we did that. So a lot of them aren't even being told anymore what the actual switch is that's being done. They're just telling them go to the store and get SIM cards now.
That's actually, I think that's technically illegal unless they disclose at the store, hey, you're going to be switching from the Sprint network to the T-Mobile network. And in some cases, it's actually worse for them to do so. And I mean, no wonder there's massive amounts of people switching away from T-Mobile right now.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I don't know. I mean, T-Mobile technically owns that customer now. So I don't know if it's, like illegal to where like lawyers have to get involved. But in that sense, I mean, if the network experience is worse on the TNX, I have seen people request to go back onto the Sprint network, but that network is going to be around maybe a couple of more months, maybe even weeks in some areas where they're converting sites. I mean, they're very aggressive on that.
I was speaking to a customer the other day where they had like a business plan on Sprint for many years, 10 lines.
Oh, shit.
And and this was in Dallas. The main reason why they loved the coverage of Sprint in Dallas was because it worked everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Fan 41 on the original 5G was amazing. However, now that his business is upgrading and scaling and going more to Oklahoma, etc., he told me, he's like, T-Mobile doesn't work in a lot of places, so I'm now switching.
Yep. Big shout out to Danny. Thanks for the super, my guy. Appreciate you, man.
Yep, rightfully so.
Right. I mean, I know you talked to me about your guy that he drove from El Paso to Oklahoma, and AT&T is actually better outside of El Paso. And the T-Mobile situation, it was not good once they got to Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was terrible. That's what he said. It was completely. He had 2 more lines on T-Mobile, and he was like, "Yeah, those are going to go to AT&T now."
Shit. Free lines too. God. Damn, man. So let me ask you guys this: do you think we're now in the middle, like we're actually right in the middle, right, of this year, right? Do you think that the supply shortage is affecting the carriers? The supply shortage of equipment?
I would say it's affecting probably AT&T a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They just started to make their orders.
But I think Verizon got out ahead because their plan was to go big on C-band 2 years ago. And I think AT&T, their shift to go big with C-band only happened more recently, in the last 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
So I feel like they might be a little bit slower in deployment the first 6 months, but I feel like after that, it's all water under the bridge, and we're going to see them hit the ground running. I think T-Mobile's pretty much in a groove right now for N41.
So here's what I was told a couple of days ago. So Verizon is publicly saying they don't have a shortage issue, which is correct, but in a way they kind of got shorted because apparently they went to the manufacturer, the OEM of the panels, and Verizon requested more than they actually got. So they kind of asked, hey, how many can you do, or how many can you make in this amount of time? They said we can do 7,000 to 8,000. So Verizon was like, I can do more sites than that, but I'll settle with 7,000 to 8,000 if that's all you can make for me in the purchase orders. And I'm also hearing AT&T is kind of dealing with that same issue right now. They're kind of just going based off how much they can get instead of how much they want to do.
But they have deals with Nokia, Samsung, and Darius.
Correct.
And is dealing with 2 vendors.
Yeah. Which,
so Verizon had to get a huge commitment from Samsung for production.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing all Samsung gear. I am not seeing anything from Nokia. It's been months.
Yeah, Nokia's done for Verizon.
Yeah, it's been months since anything new was put up for Nokia. And now I'm seeing Nokia getting taken down and being replaced by Samsung. Every time they go up on a site, all Samsung is being put up.
Yep.
It's a beautiful day for wireless, man. I'm telling you, Nokia had to literally give them the bank. They were like, T-Mobile, AT&T, we need to give you guys free equipment or something. To buy one, get 2 free or something,
Bro, I'm telling you, if Nokia had a dividend, they would literally go bankrupt. There's no way. Like, whatever their stock price is, whatever it is per share, if they had a dividend, I'm sure they don't. I'm pretty sure they don't. They might as well go bankrupt because they literally got taken out by Verizon. The biggest, anybody who has a contract with Verizon winning right now, because Verizon is going to be doing the scale up. They haven't touched in 6 years.
Yep.
They're going to do all of that. Literally between now and 2025, what is going to happen to Verizon's network?
I'm really excited to see, the brand new panels from Verizon, because I feel like if they would have done that from the beginning of this, let's say the beginning of 2017 to now, they would only just have to go up there for C-band panels or mmWave panels. But there's so many sites that they have to touch. I'm excited, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm very excited for Verizon.
Yeah, they're modernizing their whole network, man. And from some of the sites that we've seen in Ocala, Florida, Verizon is using a similar setup to T-Mobile, so it's going to be even harder to tell apart. But they have now a big panel that looks very similar to the T-Mobile N71 panel, and then they use that same smaller squared panel for the C-band. So I predict eventually that similar setup will start spreading out more on a nationwide basis, because just as T-Mobile, like I told everybody in a couple of videos, T-Mobile keeps bragging about these deals and all this efficiency. Verizon can do the same. They can lower the radios. They can go to panels that do 5 bands and 16 ports. I mean, Verizon can do it too. AT&T can do it too. I mean, T-Mobile is not anything special that they are the only ones that get these deals and can do it. everybody has access to be more efficient and use less equipment and less radios on the tower. Every carrier can do that.
Sure.
Why do you think the thongs they constantly try to say that oh yeah, the efficiencies and all this nonsense? To me, I have a very strong opinion about these deals, because at the end of the day, somebody needs to get paid, and who's going to be left out in the dust? Clearly, it has to be the contractors. Like, remember those contractors from Uzbekistan that they didn't even get paid, and then they cut the fiber?
Unbelievable.
Dude, somebody is going to get shorthanded here, man.
Well, I remember when the tower crews weren't getting paid. What was that, a year and a half ago, back in November 2019? Yeah. That was unreal, man. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that was pre-merger.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, those merger costs must have hurt. I mean, they're still paying. You still see it on the financials. They say things like merger-related costs. I mean, in last quarter, they reported merger-related costs. So how long does that go on?
For 10 years.
I think T-Mobile received a shock when they saw how bad the Sprint financials were. I think they had an idea pre-merger, but after the merger closed and they saw it, they probably like, oh my God.
Sprint definitely had to open up the books before they agreed to that merger.
Yeah.
No way T-Mobile would have just accepted whatever Sprint said.
Let me ask you this, though. So do you think that there isn't what was happening in 2019? Remember, Sneed, what you reported 2019, that they were still not getting paid? Do you think that that's still happening now?
I mean, I haven't heard anything, but usually stuff like that leaks out.
I mean, we just had one of the things, the Uzbeks, but is that an isolated incident, or do you think that it was a much bigger situation?
Well, that's the second instance in the last year and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never had any reports from any other company like that. A lot of people say that. People say things like, "Oh, it happens all the time with other carriers." They talk about like guys sleeping by a dumpster and messed up cables and all this. I don't see that. There's no way that the CLE is different than any other market. It's not different than El Paso. It's not different than Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth, Vegas. These crews are all the same. But who's hiring who? Who comes back and works for a company? So if a tower crew is crappy and then the carrier brings them back again, it's shame on the carrier. If a tower company, if installers do a crappy job for Verizon, they'll fire them before they're finished. And they'll never work at a Verizon site ever again. I truly believe that there's a standard of excellence. And you just can't tolerate anything less. And if you do, you're going to have trouble forever.
Yeah.
You see, this is the thing that I don't understand, man. We've had multiple tower crews, both in CLE, El Paso, SoCal, Las Vegas, where the quality of service that they're providing is just not good enough, man. Guys sleeping on the job, straight up just chilling in their trucks, wasting
if those
time
are
on the
crews
clock.
they can only afford, then what are they going to do?
Dude,
if it's all about budget, then what are they going to do?
There's still a sense of, somebody needs to drive over there and audit these crews.
I mean, honestly, you just wouldn't hire them again. You learn on the go, like you would learn, okay, well, we can't bring them back. I mean, this is what they're capable of doing.
Bro, remember that? So I'm going to give you guys a story. I FaceTimed Tyrone and Sneed. There was a upgrade, band 41 upgrade, N41 upgrade to this cell site that was literally connected to a small outlet store, right? Like a swap meet type store, but right in Fontana, California. And first of all, the crews were from Mexico. I asked them. The crew was from Mexico because they couldn't speak anything of English. I straight up was speaking to them in Spanish. And two, what I've learned is that in Southern California, all over the place, they're hiring desperately folks overseas from Mexico and other places. Colombia was some of the ones that they were telling me about, Chile, etc. Why? Because there's so many towers that need to be, upgraded, but they're trying to cut corners on the costs. Now, I asked him straight up. I'm like, do you like how much are you getting paid to do this? I was shocked, bro. Completely blown away. Can you guess how much this guy was getting paid per hour to do this?
$14 an hour.
No, less.
10.
Less.
$8.75.
He was getting paid $7.50.
No way.
Hour. Yes.
Holy
I wouldn't show up to work, man, honestly.
Bro, it's more money than they're getting in Mexico.
Yeah, barely.
Bro. You know what the guy told me? No joke. And now I didn't know if he was like joking or not, but apparently he was, spilling everything because I could tell that he was kind of drunk. He was drinking tequila, no joke. He was like, once I'm done with this jobs that we're doing, I'm just going to not show up for work the next day, and I'm just going to find myself somebody here that I can get married to, and then I'll just get a free green card. I'm like, what? I was like, holy shit.
Hell yeah, bro. Find himself
Tyrone, what do you think about all this?
Find himself a nice little blonde or redhead. There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to make a living, so they don't care who's paying them or where they're getting the money from. Just give them the job and they'll go do it.
My God, man.
That's how they operate. I mean, getting paid $7.50 an hour for that is asinine because there has to be some kind of hazardous pay because you're climbing up on a tall site. There's supposed to be hazardous pay and everything else, but with the contractors from overseas coming in, T-Mobile's paying them less, so they're paying their workers less.
So Sneed, what do you think about this? That we thought the Uzbeks got it bad. Man, the Mexicans that they are hiring are getting paid even worse than the Uzbeks.
Well, I mean, it's not going to end well. I'll promise that. These people aren't playing games, man.
Poor Mexican people, bro. They're hard workers too. That's the messed up part.
They're going to
very hard workers.
It's going to come back to haunt T-Mobile. That's just not the way.
It is. It is so sad, bro.
I mean, we can all respect the want and the need to upgrade sites and make your network better. That's what costs, man.
Bro.
Would this be happening under John Ledger?
No. Hell no.
Seriously,
No,
that's
bro.
how I look at Eugene and how I look at John is there's almost a disconnect from the humanities of it. I mean, literally, Mike Vert came in, Eugene started laying people off. He fired 7,000 off.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he sure did.
I honestly couldn't believe it though, man. When I hung up with Sneed, I asked the guy straight up, and he spilled everything, and I was so shocked, bro. I was like, you guys are making that little? He's like, I'm sending everything back home, and I'm like, but that's not even anything. He's like, why do you think we're here for more than 12 hours? Is because we're trying to squeeze every minute that we can. I'm like, shit. Damn. Yeah. No, now it makes sense, Sneed, man. The reason why they're just chilling under the tower, not doing anything, is because clearly they're trying to rack up the hours.
Bro, they're sleeping behind dumpsters.
Bro, you can't blame them, bro.
No, I
Dog,
can't
no
blame
one do.
them.
I
I'm blaming.
would be doing the same.
I'm
I'd do
blaming
the same.
T-Mobile, bro.
I'm sorry, bro, but I would do the same, bro.
Bro, the guy straight up told me, he's like, there's rats in the baseband unit. They were eating the fucking wires.
How?
I don't know, dude. But there was rats
What
in the baseband
burgers
unit.
and fries in the base in the radio where the radio.
Bro, remember there was an eagle's nest in the baseband unit in the rural areas. I saw a picture.
Oh my God.
Then the guy told me, so that this is the
How
same
about
guy.
the zip ties? Why don't they give them zip ties? What's the excuse there?
I don't know. The guy, I asked the guy, I'm like, so, because it was a rental truck, it was one of those Hertz rental trucks,
Yeah.
right? And then everything was included, blah, blah, right? I was like, hey, so, like, how exactly did you guys even hear about this gig? And he's like, oh, well, we saw an ad for the tower climber to go up a cell site. And I was like, did you even get trained to do on these? He's like, fuck it. I just wanted the money. What?
Yo,
So you're not... shit.
We're monetized. We gotta.
Yeah, I was very surprised, Sneed, man. I couldn't believe it, Sneed. I couldn't believe it.
It's not a good way to run business.
No. And I asked him, so are they paying you to like stay here or whatever? Like, are you getting like a hotels or whatever? He's like, no, I'm staying with family. I'm like, what?
So he wouldn't have took the job if he didn't have that ability.
Yeah, he wouldn't know.
It wouldn't have made business.
Yeah. They would have cut into his profits that he made.
Yeah, exactly. Barely any money.
Yeah, how are you gonna make $100 a day and then one night at a hotel could it possibly exceed that?
Exactly. Ridiculous. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, Sneed, man. I don't know what to say.
That's T-Mobile for you.
It is what it is. And it's funny because there was other community members, I'm going to say it like that were talking to the workers. And I was actually, feeling kind of bad that, they were happy to be doing the work. But if I told them how much like a Caucasian crew was making, the Caucasian crew that found the crack pipe, that one, dude, they were getting paid buku money, compared to these guys. So I don't know, man. I felt bad, but at the end of the day, I'm telling you, man, T-Mobile has to go to extremes just so that they're doing the equivalent of like literally driving to a Home Depot parking lot and asking a guy, "Will you be able to do this?"
Trabajo.
No, I'm serious, Nate.
Trabajo. Trabajo.
Oh man,
It's that bad. That's how I felt. Like I was like, damn, man.
Compa, trabajo, compa.
No, they'll be like, $20, $20. Oh yeah, I'll do whatever for $20.
Ocho la hora. Okay.
8 la hora. That's even worse.
oh man,
Dude, I'm telling you. Okay, get in the back of the truck. Just hop over there. Just get in my truck. Oh my God. And you see, the other thing though, Sneed, is nobody's gonna believe this because they don't talk. Nothing's recorded, right? No one's gonna talk to the guys. No one sees the guys suffer. I mean, dude, it's just crazy, man.
So who's gonna do an expose?
Need mobile tech.
Yep, SMT.
Bro, it doesn't happen here.
Yeah, because nobody's crazy enough to go to Ohio in the cold for $7.50. It's like what? But you know what? It might be the Uzbeks for 15.
Yeah.
The Uzbeks might be crazy enough, but not the Mexicans.
Yeah, that's true.
What is going on right now,
bro? But think about it. They think about it like as if this is a blessing, bro. They have all this cash, and then as soon as they're done on the last day of their last work, then they they just start running, bro. they become free citizens, bro. You know?
They run, bro, because they're like, you know what? We're not going back.
Exactly.
This is horrible.
I'm Sneed. I'm telling you, man. This is what the guy told me straight up, and I'm like, I believe him because he was drinking. That's how you know he's telling the truth. I'm telling you, man. It's like, I mean, damn. That's like the best dream come true.
Oh man, we got a super chat from JL Stack, $3 super chat. Thank you, we appreciate it very much. T-Mobile paying those guys with magenta thongs.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even want free Starbucks, bro, or Dunkin' Donuts or anything like that from T-Mobile Tuesdays, bro.
Tell them the magenta thongs as the bonus pay, huh?
Man.
Yo, did you go to the T-Mobile Tuesdays today, Tyrone?
Did I what?
Did you I don't know what was it today? $3 or something.
I had no idea. I saw somebody said the site crashed. So
hey, hold on. They're giving $3 Target gift card.
Either that or it was a chicken sandwich. I forget.
Because I could take that $3 gift card. I can buy 3 total wireless SIM cards. No, actually, no. I can buy because they're a penny a piece, so I can buy about 100 for $1. So you can go buy 300 SIM cards and give people let them try Verizon. You feel me? On their own dime.
Frank, you have 10 magenta thongs at home?
What?
It says Mexico. Oh. Bruh, what?
That's how they do it.
Thongs are people, dude. Thanks, Joeseph. Appreciate it, man. Oh, cards.
$5 meal credit at Boston Market. Oh, no, I don't eat there.
It's been close. It's been a while since I had it.
I haven't opened this in a while either, so right now we're checking it out. Since it's 7.
Los Mexicanos, 10 in the house. Okay.
Where's that Target gift card, dude? I need it. Oh, this offer has ended. Limited quantity. Son of a... Oh, man. That's cool. Bro, I could have bought damn Total Wireless Sims with that. Damn.
Go ahead and hung it out, bro. You still got some time. They don't close till 9 o'clock, right?
No, but this says here this offer has ended. Limited quantities. So it's only limited.
Coño.
Coño.
You know the other thing that I was thinking about, guys? So let's say, you just happen to be in an area where there's band 41, right? Or N41, right? There's a high chance that sector is going to become congested soon because of all the pushes to get home internet from that sector, man.
Yeah, but you're gonna need multiple sites within that site. Like the surrounding 3, 4, maybe even 5 sites would require N41 to do properly. It's just you can't have one site with band 41 and think you're gonna offer home internet to several neighborhoods. Right. It's a problem, man.
Well,
you have to densify, especially a mid-band, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here, the first 4 or 5 sites I tested in the city, none of them were doing more than 250 megabits. Now they're doing 400, 350, 500. Now we're seeing it's 100% correlated to densification. 100%.
It's just interesting because there's a lot of areas, man, where even if you have band 41 in all sectors, it's just not going to help.
They got to densify, and it's going to take time and spending. That's why are disappointed to hear about reduction in capex.
Right.
Unless they really feel they're going to be done in 2 years.
Well, they're going to put N41 on all sites and call it a day, Sneed.
Well, it won't work in places that have a population and they have heavy market share. They're getting small cells.
So what would happen if I crash my drone at a tower at N41 tower site? Will it go down?
Damn.
Can we get anybody to go test the hospital for T-Mobile's 71?
I'm going to, bro. I'm going to the one by my house. Or are you trying to do it right now?
I might do it tonight, man.
Because right now I got the drone with me, so I was actually about to get off to take flight.
If it is the case, right? If it is the case, what were you gonna do?
What if I was gonna go visit the hospital and to do testing?
No. When you find out that the site or the sites around the hospital are completely unusable, what are you gonna do about it?
Well, Sneed has to first check to make sure that the macro has N71 on it. It might not have it.
Oh, damn. Jesus. I forgot about that. I'm assuming that N71 is everywhere.
I know for a fact that the hospital that I'll be visiting has 2 screening sites with N71 and N41. I know this is going to be a good test.
Mm-hmm. So are you gonna you're gonna just have a phone that does not do N41, right? You're gonna take off N41.
You just
All I have to
disable
do
it.
is turn off. Yeah, all I have to do is just put it into LT only, right?
No, it has to be. You have to put in a Samsung and then do band select.
Oh, so I'm trying to isolate N71.
You gotta put N71, NSA, NSA, and that's it. Nothing. And your LTE bands disable 41.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big shortage of tower workers too, as they're saying. Oh, snap.
What if Sneed does that and an alert goes off in the hospital? Our electronics no longer work.
Oh, damn.
Damn, bro.
Whoa.
Then they're gonna take him to jail, bro. They're gonna think he's doing a plot.
Get to jail.
They're gonna think you're doing a plot, bro. They're gonna be like, he's doing a plot. He's trying to kill people.
I have to DM Eugene, get some bail money, bro.
You're right. He's gonna be like, you're on your own, buddy.
Oh my gosh. You know, the other thing that I was thinking about is that when that day comes where Sneed finds a site, right, that is completely unusable for T-Mobile, no one's gonna believe him.
You think what's happening when my SIM card just all of a sudden stops getting network?
Possibly.
It could be some interference.
Yeah.
Possibility.
Yeah.
Bro, it's happening like every other state these days.
Are you near a hospital?
I mean, in those instances, not really, man. One's near a church. One is 100% near a church, and the other one is near a school. I wonder if it's an EBS BRS problem.
But here's the thing: the hospitals obviously have some kind of interference issue with whatever electronics that they're using. What if some people are using these electronics in their houses or at schools or whatever? What if there's interference issues with that? You might be driving by a house and they're using something similar to that hospital, and next thing you know, you have interference issues.
That's true, because it's not just hospitals. It's anywhere where they're using that specific medical equipment, which could be an office.
Correct.
So medical offices, 4 stories, buildings. There's extensions of hospitals,
The issue also that I have with this whole situation is that You're not going to be able to make a phone call, man. That's what really upsets me, man. Remember, I was testing Band 41 outside of the emergency room in Fontana, California.
Yeah.
And it was already congested. He was doing 10.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now with this N71 situation, I think it's done. Like, it's completely unusable outside. Can you imagine inside? Damn.
So they're going to probably want to go ahead and accelerate all the 3G and CDMA shutdowns so they can put more spectrum onto the LTE bands, honestly.
Oh, yeah. They're accelerating that real fast. Yep. They're already doing standalone carrier aggregation. I mean, they're rushing this.
Frank, I don't know which one you're talking about specifically, which VA hospital, but I mean, there's probably like a couple of VA hospitals in every major city in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's funny because T-Mobile got the contract or some kind of partnership to put some of their network equipment in the hospitals, right? And then the VA goes and signs almost an $800 million deal with AT&T to modernize the data networks. Yeah. So what happened to T-Mobile?
Must not have been that big of a deal.
It went high. That's what it went.
What are we doing? Chants on here?
What up? Because you would understand if you were in the Discord with what that means.
Man, I haven't been on the Discord in a minute. There's so many notifications, Los.
That's all. That's a preview.
Oh my god.
That's a preview.
Some kind of like Hollywood or something, bro.
Easy, bro. Everybody's laughing because they know what's up because they're in the Discord. That's what.
Man, this is, but bro, this is just crazy, bro. I don't know what to say.
Dude, I've seen a lot of 5G home commercials for Verizon during these NBA playoffs. I've seen a lot of the Lily AT&T commercials. Everybody gets
Lily.
Yes. And those, the permanent marker, you know, the everybody gets the same deal. Current customers and new customers. And T-Mobile too. I've been seeing a lot of things. Phone deals, Max.
We're simply the best.
We're simply the best. Today, Tyrone, you sent that the one with the overhang, the overpass. Yeah, I saw that.
They're just picking stuff now for them to just be in the conversation in the commercial. Who has ever marketed that they have the most highway coverage? Who ever done that?
So stupid.
Yo, Sneed.
What up, man?
What do you know about that, bro?
I see the drone. Is that the Phantom?
This one is the Mavic 2.
My brother has one of those. He loves it.
We're about to take off, bro. Only if I can add the live. Only if I could, bro, on the live stream, you know?
Bro, what you mean? Put your phone on that thing.
I would have to share the RT whatever P thing with you.
Back footage, dog.
What up? Yeah, bro. I was gonna go up there.
This reminds me of that Transformers movie, man, when they had the drones flying around.
Oh, damn.
Using
Carlos
an
is gonna
Android.
go to the site, bro.
Yeah. So hold on a second. Let me see if I can do this. No, damn, my exposure.
Be careful. Don't get the Navy involved or the Air Force involved.
No, we're good.
Don't go too in depth.
We're about to see the bird nest for real.
Yo, send some zip ties there, dog.
Jesus, bro. Hell no.
Oh, damn.
I don't know how clear it is, bro, but
it's decent.
Let's see. Can I zoom in?
What we got, Los? You got all providers?
Oh, yeah, right here. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Verizon's on the very top, but they're using a new panel. I'm trying to figure out what kind of panel it is.
It's probably the modernized LTE, and then they're probably going to do C-band next.
And then,
Apparently, more sites than people first initially thought are getting CBRS and mmWave with the C-band, dude. They're doing the whole shebang, so I think we are going to be seeing a lot of that carrier aggregation with the C-band and the CBRS.
I wish I can share this so you guys can see it. You know, like physically see it, but you can see the rat's nest right there.
Can you record footage and then upload to YouTube?
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that tonight, man. We'd love to see it.
That's the whole point of me bringing it up. Yeah, it's interesting.
What are you using? Are you using iOS or are you using
iOS? It works smoother with it.
Really? My brother uses Note 10 Plus.
I mean, I know it probably does do decent too, but the software I have it modified on here so I can fly it higher and stuff. With iOS, you're able to.
Yolos, be careful with the 2.4 gigahertz. You're gonna have more interference on N41.
Right. This is the Sprint rack right here. I'm surprised it's still up.
You still got an active Sprint sim?
Mm-hmm.
Test it.
If I find it here somewhere.
Hey, Moose.
Yep.
Brooklyn just took the lead.
Oh, damn.
94-93. 8 minutes left. Oh, Giannis dropping dimes, bruh. Sprint still cooking, man. Then you probably got what, like 40 megahertz of 41 there.
Bro, the percentage went down. It was like 80% nets. Now it's 65.
How are you getting that uplink on bad 41?
Bro, Sprint was good here. I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
Hey,
I
never
got more than 3 megahertz.
You brought Sprint with you when you came to Vegas, right? Back in 17.
Sprint was way better than T-Mobile. Sprint was like, it was night and day better. There was small cells everywhere. They had, I think they even had some indoor DAS, if I remember.
Yep, in the casinos. Yeah, so it's pretty consistent. It's a good tower. T-Mobile does pretty good too, man. I can't knock it. But of course, I'm right here at the tower site, but it does pretty good.
Ernesto, what up, man? Oh, that's pretty good. Are you on the Magenta Max?
Yeah. This one is T-Mobile One.
Oh, that's really good. What's your fast.com?
2.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. So they've been updating a lot of these sites with carrier aggregation on the uplink. They're doing like 4 megahertz on the uplink, dude.
Yeah. Let's see the fast.com.
That'll work, man. Wow.
Yeah. So you got the old T-Mobile one with the plus add-on, huh?
Hey, Los, remember when you got me that and I couldn't get 2 megahertz?
I know, bro. I was like, what the hell? How the hell can you not get more than 2 Mbps?
I was getting 2 megahertz on the same plan in the CLE.
480p.
Mm-hmm. Got the 720p buffed out.
Verizon's even holding up pretty well.
Yeah, that's plenty good. Yeah, but you see T-Mobile, man, with them upgrades, it's anybody who's on in an area that's got all the upgrades to all the sites, man, it's really nice in all that spectrum, man. Really.
And where's my AT&T phone? Oh, damn. Using it right here.
All these AT&T sites are getting backhaul upgrades, man, out here. Getting fast.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Verizon and AT&T are gonna kill each other over that leadership.
Oh, momentary, or is that just a congested site?
Hold
Uh
on.
oh.
No, I think the phone. Hold on, let's see here. Let me unplug the phone real quick. Yeah, hopefully the drone. Hold on, let me put the drone down actually before I do that. Or else it'll go bye-bye. Wow, because I was gonna say I know AT&T's not that bad. No way. AT&T's king.
Landing.
Okay, so
Is
it's
the drone
landing.
still just like levitating, bro? Is the drone still levitating?
Yeah, it was. I'm landing it right now. It's so hot, bro. The damn battery starts. It's at 73% now.
Eh.
There we go. All right, so that's good. At least we can do that. Maybe it was just because it was on the drone. But I don't get it. It's only 2 bars of signal.
It's really good. Sheesh.
Wow. And they're on the 3rd rack.
You're on 5G or for LTE?
LTE.
Yeah, you're gonna have to airplane mode it.
Dude, is that? I've never seen that from AT&T here, man. That I will admit it, man. AT&T is the least
there we go.
congested. You got a full signal, dog. What the heck was happening, bro?
Oh.
AT&T pushing.
I was gonna say that tower is doing pretty good. Whoa! I ain't never seen that on TV.
So I see that all the time out here.
You guys got Ericsson gear?
No, Nokia.
Nokia.
Yeah, bro. Nokia.
Bro, half the time I can't get 10 megabits per second here in the CLE.
Hey, yo, Sneed.
What up?
Let's see here. Where the hell is that phone at? If I remember where the hell I threw it at. Oh, man. Oh, up here. Now, let's see here. Where the heck is it? This is Verizon, bro.
The Verizon.
Like that?
That's that 2005?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah. It's a good one, bro. Good.
Honestly, Verizon's got really good upload over here. AT&T's is very good. T-Mobile's uplink is really good, but I still can't live.
Yeah, look.
Can.
Whatever Verizon is doing right now out here, bro, it's freaking amazing, man. Because I'm telling you,
They're probably doing carrier aggregation over there. They're just not doing it here.
Well, not just the upload, bro, but just in general, everything, bro. This site right here, because it has new panels. It has these weird panels that have. It looks like you can split them open in half. Like the half has a line on it. It looks like you can split them in half. And ever since they put these new panels and been doing their native fiber, it has really helped them a lot. This tower right here used to get at this hour no more than 10 Mbps down and like about 2 up, and that's how much it improved.
Good stuff, man.
So they need. I hope T-Mobile starts working on their native fiber too, man. They got all that SprintNet stuff. What's all that about?
Yeah, it's gonna get sold off.
Oh man,
Want to operate it? They're not going to use it.
Costs too much to maintain it.
you think they're gonna sell it, Tyrone?
Yeah, that's done, man. They gave us guidance. They gave us guidance until 26. There's no indication they do anything with fiber.
Man, no way, bro. Because they're paying more for them to keep leasing this fiber from people than they are to just build, bro. It'll be at the end, it's money costs, and they can maintain it on themselves anytime.
Yeah, tell that to
There's
Neville.
economics, Los.
And that was like, no, the rates haven't gone up in the last 10 years. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but the thing is he can maintain it as he needs to. So if he needs to bump up the backhaul, he can do it remotely himself.
Yes.
He doesn't have to depend on somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, Carlos. I agree, man. I agree.
Imagine having to deal with Cox, bro, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll do it," and then 3 weeks go by. Oh yeah, you're next on the list. Another month goes by, you know. By the time you know it, 6 months later, and it still hasn't got bumped up.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah, he's gonna have to constantly negotiate, and I know he mentioned on that one conference that he's doing 10 gig links. He's not going higher than 10. So AT&T and Verizon are getting ready to push 25 gigs on their macros. He's not going that high.
What aren't they supposed to? Is Verizon, the reason why they're running their native fiber is to go 25 gig, right?
Yeah, AT&T is going to do the same. They'll both be at the same.
Oh, okay. Because I know AT&T already had their own stuff, you know.
Yep.
They've been having fiber forever, but Verizon's only been limited to the East Coast.
Yeah. And Neville even said that in the conference. He was like, look, Verizon is still semi-running the same model that we are because they're still building their fiber out. AT&T's owner economics are there because AT&T is the ILEC in many markets, which is true because they're they're building their fiber to the house as well. So, pretty soon Verizon will be at that same pace, and then the owner economics for them will kick in too.
Bro, Verizon's just amazing me how fast they've been building their fiber network here, bro.
No, they did it here in 2 years.
Bro, here they're 6 months, 7 months in, and the whole valley's basically done.
Damn.
And then they're gonna start running it to neighborhoods. Like I already see them in one neighborhood. They're already starting to run. They've already built the node, and they're starting to run the fiber to the side of the houses in one neighborhood.
Yeesh. They ain't playing around, man.
They're 5 years ahead of schedule. That's what the last time I talked to the fiber guy.
That's what money will do for you.
But 5 years ahead of schedule, that's a big gap.
Major.
Oh yeah, that money.
We need money, bro. We need money.
Man, possibly the longest podcast.
You done, Moose? You ready to call it a night?
Well, there is one
Kimon.
thing that I was thinking about. There's one thing that I was thinking about.
Jesus.
Next year,
What happened?
in 2023.
He said, could T-Mobile be lying to everybody?
No.
Oh man, come on, bro. You want to sit there and speculate about what it could be, and bro, we ain't living in Fantasy Island, man. That's enough of that.
Shoulda, coulda,
I
woulda.
just can't get with that, bro. If it's how you gonna deceive the investors? I mean,
You can't
literally,
do that.
if they
A
did
legal
that,
obligation.
that's a death trap. Yeah, that's a death trap. What's up, NR?
I am the investor.
They have a legal obligation. They can't lie to investors or they'll pull their money out and go elsewhere.
Oh, Moose, guess what?
Yeah.
I bought another 10 shares of AT&T stock. I'm at 90 now.
Oh, there we go.
90 shares.
90.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a celebratory podcast when you hit 100.
Why not, bro? 100 shares of AT&T stock. That's huge, bro. Dividend payments are about to be
Lots
nice.
of money.
Yeah.
Shit. Verizon's about to be nice too.
Yeah, their dividend went up, I think, by 0.15% or 0.10. I can't remember one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's what a lot of people need to do is look at the stock that has dividend, man. Dividend is what makes the stock valuable. It's not that it
Well, if
costs
you're,
$200.
you look at from
T-Mobile.
what I see, there's different ways to play it. You want to diversify your portfolio. It's good to have dividend stocks. It's good to have, stocks you can come in on and potentially have upside. You mix it up.
We should do a giveaway on
I
T-Mobile.
mean, could you imagine if you bought? What if you bought 1,000 stocks of T-Mobile before the merger? When I think T-Mobile was $78, they've doubled.
Yeah,
Right? It's like 140 something now, isn't it?
something like that. I wish they paid dividend though.
Everybody.
Well, what
does.
about Sprint, man? You remember when Sprint was like 5 something?
Yeah, people made out. I wonder when T-Mobile's gonna hit dividend payment time.
If Sprint was still alive, mark my words, they would be one of those fucking meme stocks, like Wall Street bets, like GameStop and BlackBerry and AMC. They'd run it up, bro.
Run it up, make some money, and dump.
Yep, they'd be making that big money.
Getting that guap.
Hey, yo, Tyrone, what's the temperature gonna be like over there tomorrow, bro?
About 118.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it, man.
Bro, they're talking about being 125 places around the valley here tomorrow.
Yeah.
125 plus. Because the airport's supposed to be 119. So you already know how that works.
Alrighty, Trashers, I gotta go, but we'll talk in a little bit, okay?
All right, take it easy, Moose.
Thank you, man.
Take it easy, Moose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, Ethan. Yes, SMT headquarters, powered by Los Mobile. Let's go ahead and close it out. Big shout out to Moose. Big shout out to Tyrone coming through. Carlos, we appreciate you guys are the best. Big shout out to everybody that offered a super chat donation. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting. If you want to support the channel, of course, likes, shares to your social medias. That's greatly appreciated and awesome. Thank you. Check us out on Twitter. We got a Discord link. The Patreon page link is down below as well if you want extra content, exclusives, and early access, podcasts, live streams, stuff like that. And big shout out to Tyrone for coming through. Tech Live channel. Check him out. He's got pretty much, daily content. So stay tuned for his videos. And Los might drop a video tonight, possibly. He's got the drone going on. We'll see.
Yeah.
At least at Twitter Live or something, Los.
No, I'm gonna drop a video, bro. That's the whole point of it, man.
Okay.
I've been busy with work and then taking time off in the cabin, bro.
Yeah, enjoy it, man. Big shout out to Ethan. Thank you for the super chat, man. Hashtag Ravioli Gang. Hashtag 2Live Crew. Hashtag Mod Squad. Hashtag Replay Crew for those of you watching this on the DVR. And I think that's it. We got them all. Thanks for coming on, gents. Thanks to everybody in the live chat and that watch tonight. And we'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.